Good evening. The Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District Board of Trustees is now convened in a regular board meeting on Monday, August 12th, in the boardroom of the Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District Mark Henry Administration Building at 6 p.m. I want to welcome everyone here this evening, our audience online, and also those in attendance. We're here to set goals, listen to reports, approve budgets, contracts, personal appointments, and make policy for the district. It is not the role of the board to make day-to-day operational decisions. The management and day-to-day operations of the district are the responsibility of the superintendent. We have policies and procedures in place to resolve concerns and issues. This is a business meeting of the Board of Trustees being held in the public. This is not a meeting of the public, and audience members may not participate in the meeting outside of the designated agenda items or participation in participation or agenda comment. The meeting will be conducted in an orderly fashion, in an efficient manner in accordance with the law and local policy. In order to achieve these goals, participants as well as those in the audience are expected to abide by the rules outlined in the board policies. Disruption by the meeting by any person, including the audience, is inappropriate and will be addressed by the board president or the board's counsel. Continued or repeated disruption of the board meeting by words or actions is unacceptable. It is a criminal offense for participants or audience members with the intent to disrupt or a meeting to substantially obstruct or interfere with the meeting. This can be physical utterance or verbal utterance. Individuals who are boisterous or disrupted or fail to abide by these rules may be asked to leave the gallery and observe the meeting from the overflow area. Failure to leave the meeting will result in being removed from the premises and possibly is subject to arrest. Prior to this meeting, board members received information related to tonight's items. Agenda items may not be necessarily handled by the order listed on the notice. During the course of the meeting, the board may determine that closed session is necessary. In the event, the board will go into closed session and consider matters duly posted for the meeting by sections 551.071 through 551.084 of the Texas Government Code. These proceedings are airing live on the district website. They're also available on district websites following tonight's meeting. For the video to adequately reflect the proceedings, I kindly ask you please refrain from talking while others are speaking and cell phones are turned off or in silent mode. Thank you for taking the time to join us this evening and your interest in the Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District. Tonight we have Grace Hanley from Representative Oliver's office, and we also have Karina Gonzalez for Representative Rosenthal's office. Thank you for being here. At each open meeting, patrons who have registered in accordance with the procedures established by BED regulation may address the board during the designated agenda comments prior to the board's consideration on an item for action. Unless the agenda is otherwise rearranged with the board present during the meeting, agenda comments will be taken prior to each agenda item. However, because Texas Open Meetings Act does not require a government body to hear a complaint and charge against a public officer or an employee in an open meeting, agenda comments that address complaints or concerns against individuals will be heard in closed session and may be moved out of order. Also, in accordance with the procedures established by BED regulation, patrons may address the board during the solicitation or any matters of concern not posted on agenda items. The Texas Open Meetings Act does not require a government body to hear a complaint or charge against an officer. Therefore, citizen participation comments to address complaints or concerns against individuals will be heard in closed session and may be taken out of order. Meeting participants also advise that speaking during a meeting does not automatically create immunity, and that statements made that violate the rights of others under the law of defamation or invasion of privacy are not protected. If any speaker is unsure of the legal effect of their remarks, speakers should seek legal guidance in advance. Lastly, please note that the board members may not respond to public participation comments. This does not indicate agreement with their comments, that the comments are necessarily true. For detailed information, please visit our website for more information. Patrons who registered to speak tonight will see your names listed on the screen behind me. Before your name is called, please move forward and sit in one of the reserved seats on my left or my right. When you see your name, go to the podium and you'll see a monitor inside that podium. When it's your time to speak, a digital timer will be displayed on top of the monitor. You'll see a 30-second and a 15-second warning light to wrap up your comments. The timers will be set in accordance with the number of speakers this evening. Tonight's invocation will be given by Dr. Kevin Pigg, Senior Pastor of the Crossbridge Christian Church. He's been there since 2008. Crossbridge adopted Owens Elementary, and each year they donate their school supplies and at least to 50 students, and they provide Christmas lunches for the entire staff. And they volunteer each year for the field day. Dr. Pigg also serves on the CPOC team at Owens and also recently completed 4 years of mentoring with an Owen student. He and his wife Jill have also been married for 32 years and have 2 adult sons who grew up in Cypress-Fair ISD. Thank you, Dr. Pig, for being here and for your supporting Cypress-Fair ISD. At this time, I'd ask you to please stand for the invocation and then followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, I want to come to you right now in the name of your strong Son, Jesus. And Father, I pray for the board tonight. I pray that you will give them wisdom and your grace and your peace as they work hard to make decisions. Father, I pray that you will multiply back to them blessings of every kind, blessings that just to pour down on them for all their hard work that they're putting in on behalf of these children. And Father, I do pray right now for the safety of all the staff, all the teachers, all the children as we begin this new school year. Lord, again, let your grace and your peace and your wisdom reign tonight. In Jesus' name, amen.
Todd Comp will now read the district's vision and mission statement.
Sorry. Our vision at CFISD is formed from the acronym LEAD, to learn, empower, achieve, dream, lead. Our mission is to maximize every student's potential through rigorous and relevant learning experiences, preparing students to be 21st century global leaders.
We'll now proceed with remarks and announcements portion of the agenda. The superintendent will make remarks and announcements regarding tonight's honors and achievements earned by staff and students. Dr. Kelly?
Thank you, Mr. President. Just wanted to let you all know we're still having
I'm
fun.
sorry. We do have one speaker. I apologize.
Oh, okay.
I missed that. Ms. Gonzalez, if you'd like to speak, you may head to either mic. Apologize. 2 minutes.
Good evening, Board Trustees and Superintendent Killigan. Thank you for the time to speak. My name is Karina Gonzalez. I'm the District Director for State Representative John Rosenthal in House District 135. Unfortunately, the representative is not able to speak. He is currently in Austin for a committee hearing. However, he gave me a speech to share with you and the parents. Representative Rosenthal is a strong advocate for the public education. We appreciate your service and look forward to working together in areas of shared values and interests. During these challenging times, we will continue to fight for better funding for our public schools and will always oppose any voucher schemes that takes money away from our neighborhood schools. It also pledges to
Ms.
fight.
Gonzalez, this is the part of the agenda where there is an agenda comment on the actual agenda item. We would be happy to move you to citizen participation if this is of a general interest, but otherwise it would need to be a comment on the superintendent's remarks on achievements.
I understand that. That was not communicated to me by your staff. Again, I don't mind being constituent service and response, but as I've informed, this is what your staff had informed me.
No, ma'am. Actually, it's where you signed up, and so there's actually detailed instructions on how to sign up, but we'd be happy to move you to citizen participation.
Of course,
Thank
again,
you.
there's not a problem. I'll go ahead and take a seat once again. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just wanted to let the audience know and the viewing folks that we're still having some mic issues that we had at the workshop, so we've got some replacements here. So if we struggle a little bit with the mics, they're different. So. Summer recap. The summer of 2024 was an eventful one with Cypress-Fair Independent School District. Please enjoy this video highlighting how our students and staff brought out the best.
It's fun. I have a lot of friends. Everyone's nice, and my teacher's nice.
Summer graduation. Following the completion of our summer school programs, we held the summer graduation ceremony on July 31st at the Visual and Performing Arts Center. Thank you very much for the staff that were involved in all that. They did a remarkable job with a beautiful facility. We celebrated 166 summer graduates. Congratulations to all the graduates. Special congratulations to our young speaker, graduate speaker, who did a fantastic job. I would encourage anybody to go back and look at that. He did an awesome job with comments for our summer graduation. First day of school is right around the corner for 2024-25. It will be Monday, August 19th. We are excited to open a new campus, Byrd Elementary School. We look forward to welcoming back our students and staff and remind the community to show patience the first week of school as more vehicles, including school buses, are traveling the roads and bus drivers are learning new routes. For back-to-school resources, visit www.cfisd.net/back-to-school. Bus Buddies, registration is approaching for a Bus Buddy program, which invites volunteers to assist young bus drivers as they reach their proper drop-off locations during the first 2 days of school, August 19th and 20th. Look for the Bus Buddies logo on the district website for registration. Just a reminder that on Monday, September the 2nd, will be student and staff holiday in observance of Labor Day. Also, just wanted to do some shout outs for a couple people since we've been really working hard this summer. Thank you, Matt, and all the crew at operations and all the construction folks. We had a number of projects, and with the hurricane damage and the later end to the school year plus an earlier start, you guys had a fast timeline, and so if you would pass that on to your staff, how wonderful they've been trying to get all this stuff done. Also, a big shout out to our custodial staff who've been working really hard around all the construction, trying to get our facilities ready to go, and they did a tremendous job working on a shorter timeline, so if you'd pass that to them too, really appreciate that. Thank you for the folks that worked on the VPAC graduation. I know that was a little bit different. We didn't have the Berry Center as we normally do our graduation, but I think they did a remarkable job, and it was a wonderful venue where our staff members and our students and our families were really up close to everything, and I think they were tremendous. So with that, I'll turn it over back to you, Mr. President.
Actually, Christina Cole, you're up.
Thank you, Dr. Killian, President Henry, and Board of Trustees. I always appreciate and enjoy this opportunity to share our principles with you and the community. These principles were actually named at the end of last year, but this is our first opportunity to come before the board and for the community. And today was our first day back with staff, so many of them have been busy, so we're just so appreciative of them being here with their families and to allow us to recognize them. So our first principal that I would like to bring up is Miss Megan Fernandez. She is a new principal at Burks Elementary. Megan began her career at Holbrook Elementary in 2004, where she spent 8 years in various roles, including pre-K teacher, 4th grade teacher, and later a reading enrichment teacher. She was then promoted to testing coordinator and math instructional specialist. In 2012, Megan became an assistant principal at Holmesley Elementary, where she worked for 5 years before moving to Burks Elementary as an assistant principal. After a brief time away from Cypress-Fairbanks ISD, Megan rejoined Burks family in 2021. She served as a math interventionist then and a testing coordinator before resuming her most recent position of assistant principal at Burks. Megan holds a Bachelor's of Arts from Texas A&M College Station and a Master's of Education from Sam Houston State University. Her 20 years in Cy-Fair ISD have provided her with a wealth of experiences that have prepared her for this new role. Megan and her husband Rick have 3 children. Their daughter Reese will be a freshman at Langham Creek High School. Their son Lance will be a 6th grader at Aragon Middle School, and their youngest, Cruz, will start kindergarten at Burks. In Megan's spare time, she enjoys spending time with family, watching movies, and going to the lake. Please join me in congratulating Megan on this new leadership opportunity.
Good evening. Good evening, President Henry, Board of Trustees, Dr. Killian, and Cabinet. Thank you so much for having me here this evening. I am truly blessed and honored that you guys have put trust in me to be the new principal at Burks Elementary. A lot of what Christina said has made such a huge impact on where I am today. When I was a little girl, I knew I wanted to be a teacher, but really just a teacher. I did not see myself here at all. 20 years ago, I was hired at Holbrook as a pre-K teacher, and I thought, oh, I made my dream. This is it. But because of the support and all of the administrators that I worked with, they truly encouraged me to step out of my comfort zone, get into leadership roles, and I wouldn't have been able to do it without them. A lot of them are here this evening: Dr. Carla Brosnahan, Stacey Everson, Yvette Garcia. They all played huge roles in supporting me and guiding me and being such great examples. So I know that they are a huge part of why I'm here today, but also my family. And so I'd like to introduce them. They are here with me tonight. My husband, Rick Fernandez. He is amazing. He has been giving me so much grace these past couple of weeks as I begin this new journey. Also part-time, maybe speechwriter, but also, my kids are here with me. Reese will be a freshman at Langham, and she is so excited to start there. Lance is a sixth grader at Aragon. He just now got ready to go. And then Cruz will be a kindergartner at Burks. He is most excited about getting to go to Reese and Lance's school. It doesn't matter that I'm there, really. But he is very excited. Also with me tonight are my parents, Kathleen and Charles McLean, and they are such a huge support in my life, and couldn't do it without them. So I just want to say thank you so much for this opportunity. I am truly blessed, but also excited to lead the students, staff, and community at Burks. So thank you.
Thank you, Megan. Our next principal that I'd like to introduce to you is Carrie Dale. If you'll please come up. Carrie is a new principal at Yeager Elementary. She is in her 25th year as an educator, all in Cyfair ISD. She began her career in 2000 as a teacher at Reed Elementary and worked at Black Elementary, serving all primary grades, and then transitioned into a reading interventionist position at Black in 2015. In 2017, Carrie became a reading and language arts instructional specialist at Keith Elementary before being promoted to assistant principal at Matsky Elementary in 2019. Carrie's educational career is a testament to her commitment to learning and growth. She earned her bachelor's degree from Texas Christian University and her master's from Houston Baptist University. Her dedication to professional development is evident in the roles as a Cyfair ISD model teacher, campus lead mentor, Math Their Way trainer, and her participation in the Teacher Leadership Institute and the Inspiring Principal Institute, among others. Carrie and her husband, Wesley, are both products of Cypress-Fairbanks ISD. Carrie went to Yeager, and Wesley attended Francogne. She's got a really cute story about how they met, so I'll let her share that at another time. They both went to Campbell Middle School and graduated from Cypress Creek High School. They have two children, Parker, who will be a junior in college, and Evie, who will be a junior in high school. Carrie and Wesley actually have a third daughter. And Carrie says this, not me, but she says that her dog Sadie is her favorite. Carrie's on staff at her church, Faith Bridge, where she enjoys teaching Bible lessons and leading praise and worship with the early childhood preschool children every Sunday. So if she doesn't get enough of children Monday through Friday, she just loves seeing them Sunday at church. Please join me in congratulating Carrie on her leadership opportunity. Thank
you. Not sure. Oh, wait, it is on. Okay, I've been worried about that, so now I can check that off the list. President Henry and Board of Trustees, also Dr. Killian and all of the Cypher leadership, I am overwhelmed. I don't know if you can hear my heart on this microphone. I can hear it. I'm just very, very, very excited to be here and to have an opportunity like this ahead of me. I am 100% the product of the people who have created me. I have a giant entourage here this evening because each one of those people have given me love and support and have shaped who I am and the leadership qualities that I have. I do want to make sure I introduce them. My parents are here in the front row, Ray and Nancy Bearden. Harry, I'm sorry, you're kind of part of my family now. Welcome. My sister-in-law, Jean, is here. My daughter, Parker. My husband, Wesley, as Christina Cole alluded to, I became a little bit obsessed with him in 6th grade at Campbell Middle School. I made him fall in love with me, and it's been working for me ever since. My daughter, Evie. Right next to Evie is my honorary sister. This is Sarah Parker. She has been my right hand, my best friend, my honorary sister, my AP partner. Anyone who's had a wonderful teaching partner or administrative partner understands that this, she might well be even more important than Sadie. My auntie Judy Coyne is here. My mama, Susan Bearden, who also taught in Cy-Fair for 22 years. My mentor and life coach, Dr. Laura Perry, who also is a Cy-Fair product. My nephew, Witten, my niece, Posey, my sister-in-law, Kara, my husband's parents, Jack and Suzanne Dale. And Harry. Let me tell you that I am a product of Cy-Fair. Like Christina said, I went to Jaeger, to Campbell, to Cypress Creek. The leaders that I had are now namesakes of buildings. I was there with Mrs. Gleason, with Mr. Brodigam, with Miss Aragon. I've been shaped and been able to look up to people my whole life that I've wanted to emulate. And so now I feel a little bit like I'm accepting an Oscar because I'm like, here I am. I've got a life achievement right in front of you. I was able to work at so many campuses with amazing leaders that were servant leaders and were careful in the way that they inspired and led not just the students and the staff, but the communities that they served. I got to start at Reed Elementary with Barbara Goldstein. I got to work with Leslie Thomas, with Lillian Chastain at Black Elementary when it opened, with Melissa Ledoux, who was probably the one who forced me out of my comfort zone as well. I was just happy to live and die in kindergarten, and she continued to let me know that it was time to start pursuing what was next for me, and I'm ever grateful for her for doing so. When I left Black and went to Keith, I got to work with John Tryon. I learned about the kind of leader that you can be, where if you say, hey, everybody go jump off the roof, everyone will run and say, look at me, do it first, because she was truly a remarkable leader. And then I have been so immensely fortunate to spend my last few years with the Kathy Jacobs at Matsky Elementary. It has been a fantastic run, and now I am just very excited to get to turn that over and get to work at Jaeger. Just like Christina said, I went to Jaeger when I was a little girl. I've had this magnificent homecoming, walking around the building that I grew up in and getting to see the community that is my community. I'm back home. I got to meet all of the paras and support staff last week. Today was my first day with my staff. What an amazing and magnificent staff I get to serve. Next Monday, when the students arrive, it will be my birthday. So the very best birthday gift I can get in the entire world is I'm going to get 1,000 extra little family members, and I cannot wait. Thank you very much for giving me a chance to be a part of the future of a building and a community that has been such a formative part of my past.
Thank you, Carrie. Our final principal announcement for this evening is the principal at Libi Middle School, Dr. Crystal Love Hewer. Back in June, the staff welcomed Crystal's return to Libi, where she was previously an assistant principal and director of instruction from 2016 to 2023. I'm seeing some recurring themes. Crystal began her journey in Cy-Fair ISD 22 years ago at Cy-Fair High School, teaching English and coaching cheerleading. She joined the inaugural Cypress Ranch staff in 2008, and throughout her years there taught English 1 and English 4, served as an English 1 team leader, assisted with the classics drill team, and if she didn't have enough to do, she also coached cheerleading. Wow. She transitioned to a campus instructional coaching position before moving to Libi as the director of instruction helping teacher. Later, she was promoted to assistant principal and a director of instruction. Most recently, Crystal served as the director of instruction at Cypress Creek High School before being named principal. A proud graduate of Texas University. Oh, I didn't hear any whoops. Crystal earned a Bachelor of Arts in English. Oh, did I Texas A&M University? Okay, thank you. Sorry. My fault. Clearly. Crystal earned her Bachelor's of Arts in English and later her Master's in Educational Leadership from the University of Texas at Arlington. Her commitment to continuous growth is evident in that she recently completed her doctorate in Educational Leadership from the University of Houston and will be receiving her Texas Superintendent Certificate this fall. Crystal has continuously developed her professional skills through the Aspiring Administrative Institute, the Aspiring Principal Institute, SIBME Coaching and Training, Quantum Learning Training, while serving on numerous district committees. A lifelong resident, Crystal attended Emmett Elementary, Bang Elementary as inaugural class, Campbell, Cook, and Jersey Village High School. Another recurring theme. Crystal and her husband, Dr. Eric Hoyer, have 2 children, Piper, who will be in 8th grade at Sprague Middle School, and Hudson, who will be in 4th grade at McGowan Elementary. In Crystal's free time, she enjoys yoga, reading, and being both a dance and taekwondo mom. Please join me in congratulating Crystal on her new leadership opportunity.
Good evening, President Henry, Board of Trustees, Dr. Killian, and the Cabinet. Thank you all so much. I am honored by this opportunity to serve the Libi community in a new capacity and to build on the traditions that have been established over 40 years at Libi. That's right, we're turning 40 this year. So speaking of 40 years ago, that's about the time that little me decided I wanted to be a teacher when I grew up. And I like to think that that little girl would be very proud of how far we've come now. So I want to give some special thanks to my amazing support system, my husband, Eric, and my 2 children, Piper and Hudson, who you've already met. My mom and dad are here, Glenn and Belinda Love. And my in-laws are also here, Sue and Roger Hoyer. My brother and sister-in-law, Brent and Jennifer Love, and their daughter, Cameron, who is a recent graduate from Bridgeland High School. And I also have great friends here who have become like family, and also some of my Libi staff are here tonight, and I'm very excited that they could make it. We couldn't make any of this work without all of you. I have a very special guest here tonight. Betty Buckner is the former director of the Jersey Village Gold Dusters and the founding director of the Cypress Ranch Classics. She is the epitome of leading by example. She's the most caring and hardest working woman in any room, and I strive to be that leader daily. Lastly, I want to recognize some of the principals who encouraged me and shaped my journey along the way. First of all, I have Mr. Bob Hull, who took a chance on me 22 years ago and hired me for my first teaching assignment. Then I have Dr. Lynette Bellamy, who invested in me time after time after time. And she continually encourages me to be a better version of myself every day. Then there's Dr. Mike Contreras, and he taught me the value of taking crazy ideas and making them come to life as something great. Mr. Martin Drayton could not be here tonight, but I know he's watching from home. And he taught me that being aggressively optimistic not only makes every day exciting, but it is the fastest way to spread joy to everyone around you. Thank you for all of your leadership, your friendship, and the growth opportunities that helped me to get right here. Again, thank you all for this opportunity to serve. It's a great day to be an Eagle.
Thank you, Crystal.
We'll now proceed with recognitions portion of the agenda. Dr. Heather Berkman.
This one on? Okay. Dr. Killian, President Henry, Board of Trustees, it is with pleasure that we get to recognize Cypher High School AP Biology teacher Ann Gill. Ann, will you please join us? Yeah, you get to go all the way up in front. Ms. Gill was honored with the 2024 Kim Fogula AP Biology Award from the National Association of Biology Teachers for service to AP Biology. This award recognizes an AP Biology teacher who displays a willingness to share materials, serves as a mentor to students and colleagues, creates an innovative and student-centered classroom, and exemplifies a personal philosophy that encourages professional growth as an AP Biology teacher and a member of the community. Ms. Gill has served as a teacher at Cy-Fair for 21 years. During her tenure, she has taught, get ready for this, honors chemistry, aquatics, anatomy and physiology, environmental systems, AP science, dual credit environmental science, and AP Biology. She also serves as a College Board consultant and has served as a National Mathematics and Science Initiative consultant for 9 years. In addition, she serves as an AP reader and a table leader for the last 15 years. Her principal, Anna Martin, shared that this distinguished honor reflects Ann's dedication, passion, and innovative approach to teaching her students. We are so fortunate to have her as part of the Cy-Fair High School staff. We are so proud. Ms. Gill was also named as the local Walmart Teacher of the Year in 2006 and the Texas Outstanding Biology Teacher in 2013. She has been named to the CFISD Wall of Fame, and she also received the Alton L. Biggs Excellence in Biology Teaching Award in 2018. She currently serves as the Secretary and Treasurer for the Texas Association of Biology Teachers. At this time, I would like to invite her principal of Cy-Fair High School, Anna Martin, to please come join her on the stage. And please join me in congratulating Ann on these wonderful accomplishments.
Ms. Gill, I just wanted to say something. Thank you so much for all you do to nationally recognize yourself and our school district. You made a tremendous difference. Thank you also for the summer email and finding out that you may not be able to attend, and our staff, Karen and also Linda, for finding a way to fund it. As some of you may know, we're in a little bit of a budget crunch, and we were able to do that. And Karen, to help you, I'm going to be donating money directly for her to go to the national conference. So I told you I would be in this with you. So. I'll give you the check later.
It's in the mail, Karen. We're now going to take a 5-minute break to get some pictures. And if anyone would like to leave before the meeting starts, you're welcome to leave as well. For those who are just here for the recognitions. We'll now proceed with board comments. Board members may make comments during this portion of the agenda regarding school visits, meetings, conferences attended, district community events, initiatives, or continuing education. The board may not take action on items discussed. We'll now start to my right, Mr. Justin Ray.
This thing on? It is on. Okay, great. Welcome, everybody. It's good to see a packed house, a lot of parents, community members. Congratulations to our brand new 3 principals, and the fact that they're all Cyfair products is super exciting. I mean, this is a community we want to come back to and serve, and so I'm so excited for them, and I'm excited for this upcoming school year. I hope everybody had a great summer. I was fortunate enough and happy enough to take a little family vacation with my family, did my best Clark Griswold impersonation this year, and it was a lot of fun, and I was glad to do it, and I'm glad to be back. It's a big year for our family. I've got an elementary student, a middle schooler, and a high schooler starting 9th grade at Jersey Village High School, so we're excited about this year as well. And we're right in the middle of meet the teacher activities and everything like that. So this summer, I was happy to attend district summer graduation. Ooh, can't speak tonight. I want to say congratulations to all the students, parents, and teachers on all their accomplishments over that's very, very impressive. I'm looking forward to this year, as I said. I'm looking forward to Bus Buddies, Watchdog, fall sports, campus visits, and everything like that. The topic I want to discuss this evening is a topic that's on the forefront of a lot of people's minds, and I expect we'll have a number of comments this evening on it. And of course, it's on our transportation that we're dealing with right now. And it's probably the biggest issue in our district and that families are currently dealing with. And I'm one of those parents. And so, you know, our family's losing bus service as well. And we completely sympathize with our Cyfair families and the impact it's having. And I can't stress that enough, you know, that we hear you, we understand, and we sympathize, and we're working on it. And this is going to be a continuous discussion and a continuous program. In talking about the transportation situation, let me address it from 2 buckets, the finance bucket and the safety bucket, okay? So from the finance perspective, you know, everybody's fully aware that, you know, our transportation struggles is due to the budget deficit. And scaling down to the 1 or 2 mile rule puts us in line with the transportation services provided by the surrounding districts. And understandably, we've received a lot of communication, email, phone calls, social media outreach regarding this disruption. And we fully understand that it is a disruption. A number of suggestions revolve around keeping the transportation as is and find the money elsewhere. And I wanted to touch on that real quick. You know, when you look at, you know, trying to find the money elsewhere, CFISD is, for a district of our size, we're running very, very lean. In order for the district to keep transportation, we would need to find about $6 to $7 million. And there are only 2 areas that we can find that money. One is our operating budget, and the other is fund balance. Our operating budget is almost 90% salary. If we used our operating budget for that $6 to $7 million, that means more positions are eliminated. Staff, librarians, teachers. And we've already went through that painful process of eliminating positions. Neither this board nor the community wants to go through that again. Then the other area, of course, is fund balance. You know, let's call it the savings account for the district. You know, when we've already dipped into our fund balance to bridge the current budget gap. And we've gotten our savings account down to a critical point. And there's a number of reasons why further reducing the fund balance would be financially harmful to this district. One major reason why is that sometimes we don't receive our money from the state in time, and we still have bills to pay. So that includes salaries, that includes teacher salaries. If we don't have money in the bank, we lose that important safety cushion, and that compromises our ability to actually pay our bills on time. So one point worth repeating is that we just can't sell property, we can't sell the VPAC, we can't sell the Berry Center. Those were financed with bond money and can't be used for operating expenses. So financially, looking at it from a broad view, our district we can do basically 3 things. We can cut more positions, we can put our savings account in a dire situation, or we can put our bus service in line with other districts, which is ultimately what we did and ultimately the best worst choice. The other bucket is safety. Again, we've discussed it, we'll continue to discuss it. safety is absolutely paramount. I was talking to some friends and parents just a few minutes ago about how important safety is, and we completely understand that. And when we introduced the revised transportation plan, it's understandable that parents and community members would be worried about the safety, especially for families who choose to walk or bike to school. And let me address that briefly here. So, there are roads out there that pose concerns, and we as a district, and I'll be very frank, we as a district could have done a better job earlier communicating the safety protocols and initiatives that we're pursuing. And I'm sorry for that, and we will do better. I've been encouraged by the recent community videos made by Matt Morgan and Chief Mendez, but more needs to be done, and we're going to continue to do that. So one of the things I've discussed with our superintendent is that the superintendent has agreed to make part of his monthly board comments regular safety updates as it involves to school transportation. That includes such things as status of crossing guard programs, CFISD police traffic enforcement in some of these hazardous areas. One of the things we're working on is our continuing conversation with HOA and MUD districts for more walkable areas. What can we do to work collaboratively with our MUDs and our HOAs to provide better walking paths? And of course, we're continuing to evaluate our hazardous road conditions. These are all things that are on the top of our list to do. They're absolutely paramount, and it's extremely important that we communicate that to the public, and the superintendent and I have had a very good conversation about that, and we're going to make these updates a reoccurring thing during our board meetings. So to sum up the transportation, and I'm sure my colleagues will have more things to say, and I look forward to citizen comments and the continuing conversation on this transportation issue. We have the financial and we have the safety buckets to deal with. The financial aspect has forced all of us in the Cy-Fair community to basically pitch in. We're all pitching in together on this and making accommodations. But as a district, we're going to have to do everything we can to conduct these transportation changes as safely as possible and to continue to communicate that. And so those are my board comments this evening, Mr. President.
Thank you. Lucas?
Thank you, Justin. Thank you, President Henry. So, in line with Justin's comments, and as I spoke, before we actually had the vote on the budget and implication on the adjustments to the bus routes, as I said then, and I'll say it again, cutting bus routes was never something that we wanted to do. We heard it initially. We didn't want to go down that road. We pushed back when we initially heard it. We understand that we have to be financial stewards above and beyond everything else. We have to be able to meet our financial obligations to our teachers that are trusting us with their paychecks. We have to be able to meet our financial obligations on all of our loans and our bonds. If we don't, things begin to unravel quickly. So we have to work within the constraints that we have set upon us by the state in terms of what they will fund at the 1 and the 2 mile limit. But with that said, we want to make sure that we're conducting our affairs to give our families and give our students the best opportunity to be safe and make sure that everybody gets home, everybody gets to school, and we can carry on our business during a normal school day. We are committed to keeping our kids safe. We are committed to making sure that our families understand how to, what they will have available to them, what services they'll have available to them, and as Justin said, we'll continue making those updates in the future. Our goal is that our kids have the best opportunity possible for that education, for their education. We will continue to do that. And that means we've got the right teachers, we've got the right staff balance. So as Justin said, most of our operating budget goes to our teacher salaries. Our principals made their recommendations on how much we could cut. So I've heard parents say, well, just cut the teachers. It's not that simple. It is not. It is not. And so we have to listen to our principals when they say this is what we can do for our staffing needs. And so we listen to our administration, we listen to our principals, and we achieve the balance. And so that's how we've arrived at the decision that we did come to, and that's what we will implement going forward. So that being said, we will continue to communicate, we'll continue to work hard for our families and for our community. And we appreciate the feedback, we appreciate the support, and as the new school year begins, I myself will be on bus buddies. I'll be working with our early bus riders to understand what bus they're supposed to be on and when they're supposed to get off the bus. It's a precious time, and And we look forward to this new school year and all the activities that are going to come with it. As you guys have heard from our principals this evening, you can't get better representation than what you've already heard in our principals. And that is, they very well represent all of the principals that we have across the district. Parents who are also principals, they care about your kids, they care about making sure they have the best experience possible, they're committed to your kids. It's a wonderful place to be. So I look forward to all the new games, the new schedules, visiting campuses, meeting staff, parents, teachers, and helping by simply listening. And it's going to be a great school year. Thank you.
Thank you. Todd?
Thank you, President Henry. I want to welcome back to the students and staff as we gear up for a productive 2024-2025 school year. Hope that everyone got some time to relax and spend some quality time with your families and take a healthy break to prepare for the upcoming school year. Bus routes. For those in the audience and those viewing at home, let me begin by saying I've read many comments and shared many conversations concerning the changes in transportation of students. I empathize with parents and students affected by the changes we had to make. I'm sorry that we had to make these changes, and I apologize if people feel that we could have communicated the changes sooner. There were lots of items that needed to be discussed when major changes like these happen. Our communications team does a great job keeping our community informed and showcasing the staff and students of our school district. There were lots of questions that still needed to be answered for them. Combine that with the challenges in July with staff member vacations, it impacted the timing of our transportation messaging. This morning, I met with Matt Morgan, one of our CFISD parents, to discuss the transportation changes and to hear from him directly. I think it was a productive meeting and provided additional clarity for all parties. In my opinion, the budget reductions were handled in as professional a way possible by our superintendent with some very difficult decisions that needed to be made. I want to extend a big thank you to those that participated in the budget reduction committee and people that gave feedback on surveys that were sent out. We had many CFISD employees, parents, stakeholders that volunteered to give input. I think we can all agree that it's much easier to govern and operate a school district without the significant budget constraints we're currently experiencing. Tough conversations were had, tough decisions had to be made. Again, I am truly sorry for those negatively impacted by these changes. From a community standpoint, when we have challenges, we have bad weather issues like the tornadoes or hurricanes, we come together as a community and we get through it. I'm asking the community to come together and help solve some of these challenges. The last item I want to address is an update on the policy committee. I'm the chair of the policy committee. The committee met and had some in-depth discussions in July. No board actions are required at this time.
Thank you, Todd. To my left, Natalie?
Good evening. We welcome everyone back to the 2024-25 school year. Time does fly, and in just 1 week, we'll welcome our students who come back. We have amazing students. They're full of promise and potential, and they truly are the future of our community and our nation and our free world. And so it's my sincere objective sitting in this seat to best support the incredible work of our school system, to make sure that we really make school education personally relevant and individually rigorous for each student, and rewarding and full of purpose for each CFIC student, teacher, staff member, community member, parent, guardian, everyone. And it takes each of us giving our best and fulfilling our obligations to ensure this happens. I thank each member of the CFIC family for choosing CFIC to work and raise your family in. We truly are a district where our culture is one of family, as you saw on display today with our principal announcements, and we do work to have strong support systems. It was my honor to welcome the new teachers and paraprofessionals to our school district last week. We're so glad that each of you has chosen to work here in Cy-Fair. And what I said in my address was that at the end of the year, if people say, 1, this is a great profession, and 2, this is a great place to work, then we've done our job. We welcome back all the returning teachers and staff. You are what makes CFISD the highest quality schools district around. Teachers, you are the most important frontline employees. We exist to serve your needs and to make sure we provide the resources and the environment that you need in which to teach our students and work in collaboration with their parents. From my own experience as a mother in CFISD, our CFISD teachers truly do teach with excellence. They know how to build relationships and teach their content. And I hope that every returning teacher at the end of the year will say the same things. One, this is a great profession, and this is a great place to work. And if so, we have done our job. Now on to less positive note. I truly am disturbed at the failure of this board, of me personally, of us in this communication about our transportation. It's not new. I've sat on this board and the board before us, we all knew that this budget situation was coming, so to act like it's new is actually not honest. This budget situation could have been done, we could have prepared, you may be the newest at the table, Doug, so maybe it doesn't sit on you, but we did, it's not a surprise that we could have had to face this, and so for families to be wondering about their child's route to school still in July, to me that's a failing on our part. That's a failure of leadership. We can say we're trustees and we can play politics, but this is not politics. This is kids' lives and kids' education and their safety. And so to me, I would say I apologize for that. That is a failure on our part. And we were elected. We were hired through votes by the public. A lot of us on this, we were hired to do something different, to not do the status quo, to not continue to perpetuate things that aren't working for families. And so I feel like this change management of this magnitude, something so critical as students working to school. I went to meet a few families this weekend to see what the walk was like. And I would never have my child walking in Cypress, North Houston, where there's not even a bit of sidewalk and no curb or anything on a 40-mile-per-hour road. That is truly not safe. And so I know that we can do better. Another citizen showed their walk. Theirs was a little less treacherous, but they said, you know, in industry, we use change management plans. We all get together, all stakeholders. That would be parents, that would be trustees, that would be, and they talked about how in his industry, they take the change that's coming and then they say, okay, what could be the challenges to this change? And then they put the top 10 challenges up and then they rank them about how bad could they be, high, medium, low. And then they tackle those 10 issues and they make sure it's rolled out in a way that's communicated, that there's communication, that things are done in such a way that people can handle the change. And look, I was a single mother since my daughter was in 3rd grade and she graduated. It is a tenuous balance to be able to sure get to work, make a living, and get your kid to school. And so I apologize to every parent out there who's trying to figure out, one in the crowd who had to quit her job, literally quit her jobs because not only did we change the transportation, but we also have now a 4-tier schedule, so her kids start school an hour separated from each other. So how do you get to a job in the Galleria when you have one starting at 7:30 and another one starting at 8:30 or 8:40? I think we put parents in a very difficult situation. So I would say I challenge all of us to do better. We're not here to play trustee we're here to govern. We're not here to play administration. We're here to administrate in a way that serves the families of our school district, because guess what? Safety is our #1 job, so that we can do our main job, which is to teach your children, to make sure they can read and write and do math. And so I apologize for my failing, and I hope that we are working every day to make sure in those situations that we're addressing them and making sure kids will have safe passage to school. I understand we can say, actually, we're not responsible for getting kids to school. And actually, legally, that may be true. But we've been doing that, so we don't make a change and communicate it in July, and then not expect for people not to be worried about the safety of their children. And if one child is hurt, that's not worth any $6 million, $7 million, $8 million, $10 million. So I pray for the safety of our children. I believe that God will protect our children on the way to school as we unwind things and figure out how we can do it. And the community can step up. Guess what? Bus drivers are a shortage. How many of you can drive? How many of you drove here? Raise your hand if you drove here. I know we're not supposed to interact, so don't do it. I won't break any rules. But if you drove here, you know how to drive. You know what? CDL is not that difficult. We support people. We train them. Let's sign up and be bus drivers, because the biggest reason we're going to tell you why we don't have buses is because we don't have bus drivers. And we may not pay as well, but guess what? My ex-husband is a bus driver in Spring Branch. Actually, our pay is not so differential. The point is we need to tell people we have a desperate need. So I'm telling you, we have a desperate need. Please sign up to be bus drivers in Cyfair so that we can offer more routes to our students. We've bought the buses. That's bond dollars. We're not at a lack of buses to run. We just need the drivers for the buses. So stand up if you can do that. It's going to take the community. And if you still have a concern, communicate with the administration about your bus walk. If your kids are walking in places that are not safe and if it's not a solution there, let us know. Please communicate. Some families have done that, but some may not know to do that, so that we can be sure that we have looked at everything possible for our students. I also want people to understand that maybe you need care now before school, and if you can't get into Club Rewind because you're on a waiting list, communicate. If you need an aunt or a sister or a sister-in-law or a friend in the neighborhood as a caregiver, and they happen to be en route to the bus, Find out if you can fill out a babysitting form, because if you need to do whatever it might take to be safe to get your kids to school. That's another thing available on our website. So I just want you to know, maybe I've been around on, this is my 3rd year, so you know what, this budget situation, that sits on me too, right? I knew it was coming. And so I just want you to tell you that I'm here to do the job you hired me to do. I can't speak for anyone else up here, but what I can tell you is that regardless of what anyone else does, I'm here to do that. And that is my job, and I serve on the Safety Committee under the leadership of Trustee Calmback, and we will continue to look at all the issues of safety for the district. Julie Heineman serves on that committee as well, and our administration does a great job of really rallying around and getting us the information we need. So we will make sure safety is job one so we can do our main job, which moves me on to the topic of literacy. We have a lot to celebrate. We always perform above the state in Cy-Fair. That is something that it takes every single day, every teacher's effort, every person's effort, you saw these principals who were introduced, they carry this weight on their shoulders every day to make sure students are reaching the goals we set for them. But we still have a gap. In 3rd grade, and we know, we can say, oh yes, the test changed and it was digital. There are things, so we look at the trends of the whole state. We're still ahead of the state, we're dipping like the state. But let me tell you how many numbers of children could not read at the approaches level. We had 1,734 3rd graders who weren't actually at the level, not quite on level, not meeting, but not at approaches level yet. We had 1,359 4th graders who weren't yet at the approaches level. We had 1,731 5th graders who weren't yet at the approaches level, 1,807 6th graders, 2,086 7th graders, 1,497 8th graders. Who's signing up for that to be your kid who's not reading on grade level? So we have a lot of work to do in the reading area as well. So we need to make sure we keep our kids safe so that we can focus on this. And guess what? It's going to take everyone here too. How many of you can read? If you can read, you can help tutor a child, because we did have to make budget cuts. We did positions that were supporting through the curriculum instruction area to make sure kids could read. I was very sad to see on the list things that we care most about, which is reading and math, and those were positions being cut. So I hope that we can raise an incredible volunteer army. We'll teach you how to teach them to read if you'll come read with them. I know Ms. Heineman's been a mentor and a tutor as well. Does a mentor very in the lives of children. A tutor is someone who's going to say, I'm going to help you learn actually how to read. Guess what? We can teach people to teach kids how to read, and it's just going to take an army of us to make sure we close this gap as well. And then we're really fulfilling our promise. I didn't volunteer my time to come here and play politics. I volunteered to make a difference in the lives of children. And so I do hope that we can all join in and make sure we can sign up to be bus drivers and we can sign up to be tutors with our children in our schools, because we have some work to do in the finest school district around. I don't say this because we're not the best, but I say this because every child deserves to be safe and to be able to read and do math. So thank you very much.
Ms. Kalmbach?
I'm pushing it. Did it work? Okay. Good evening, Cy-Fair. It has been a busy summer, and I do pray that your families have had time to spend together and that you have been able to connect and to just spend time together. It's really precious as a family. Summertime can bring a lot of great memories and experiences, so I hope that's what you've had. I want to just update the community on the Academic Safety Vision and Planning Committee, and after that I have some comments. We reviewed the fact that the chapters that we asked to be removed, which was 13, that was not the only thing that we did, was remove the chapters, but we actually asked local curriculum to be written for our students on those chapters so they don't miss anything, and that all the TEKS will be taught to them. So I clearly want to state that while the 13 chapters that were there, it seems that the Chronicle and the Community Impact posted that we omitted these chapters, but we didn't just omit the chapters, we actually asked our curriculum and instruction department to write local curriculum for our students and to provide all the TEKS. We also had a senior survey report, and we talked about reviewing what the students that did exit surveys, determining that after they graduate, it looks like about 44% are going to college, about 3% were going into the military. It looks like there's a little dip there. That is self-reporting, so that number may not be accurate. We also have a dual language program that Dr. Macias piloted. We were really hoping for more students. We have about 40 enrolled. We will keep this program at M. Robinson. We're hoping that, we know that one of the challenges is that Some parents may have wanted to keep their students at their home campus, but this is a fantastic program, and we hope that those are in it are blessed by it and will do well. We also did have a recommendation by Dr. Killian to have a Bible course as an elective. It is not a required course. And we had a few days of reviewing that at the district office. We had people that gave comments. Most of them were very favorable. This is a course that will be available in 25-26. It's not a weighted course. The Bible book has some correlation to AP courses that they'll be able to get that through. There is no state-approved book for this course. The one that was chosen was favorably reviewed by the people that came to the district and gave feedback on that. We also have, we did talk about the safety and transportation plan. We were provided with a binder, and I'll talk about that in a few minutes. But there is a lot of concern surrounding this, and my personal comments will actually speak more to this, so that will be coming. We also did review the legal proceedings for any students that receive drug charges or vaping. We've talked about ways to detect vaping in the district, and we will be looking into that. Also, we want to see if we also have talked about the 4-year plans that are coming up, and with the phasing out of the class ranking, and we'll talk about a little bit more about that tonight. And the advantage to just ranking the top 10%. It allows students that are not ranked to have a potential shot and more of a chance of getting into the college of their choice. So it wasn't to take that away from anyone, it's to actually help our students. So now, my personal comments. I do come to you with a heavy heart as well. I went back and I reviewed. I had a lot of questions about the transportation. I've seen the emails, I've seen the social comments, I've seen text messages, phone calls, and we received a binder. All of the board members received it, and in it is a timeline with data correlating to this process. And so if you'll bear with me for a moment, I want to go through a bit of a timeline so that you understand. But on February 27th, Dr. Killian shared a community message to give input on the budget. I requested that form be put on the district website, and it was not. I don't understand why, but it was not. On March 22nd, we had a budget reduction advisory committee of 67 members, 29 parents and board-appointed members. We did receive 1,250 community responses. 13% said we should reduce transportation services. There were 3 subcommittees on operations, services, and programs. I did ask to attend those meetings, but was not allowed because it was not a meeting of the public, and it would have violated the Texas Open Act. So unfortunately, a lot of the board members were not able to attend that committee, which I think would have been very helpful in understanding the process of what goes into the budget and what the decisions were that were being recommended, the recommendations. April 8th, the Budget Reduction Advisory Committee recommended a hybrid transportation of reduction of $8.2 million. We actually do have 162 transportation vacancies, of which 103 are bus drivers. So we do need bus drivers in our district. The bus drivers that we have are very precious to us, and we so appreciate them, and we would love for you to join them as well. I do want to point out that Matt Morgan, Chief Operations Officer, did meet with HOAs and MUDs. Unfortunately, it seems like the majority of them will not be able to or are not able to put in sidewalks in a lot of these areas. He's also reached out to precinct commissioners on their offices, pointing out these high-traffic areas that have a problem with speeding, don't have enough stop signs, don't have crosswalks. So those requests are being made as well, and we can use the community support and information on that as well. If you know of a place that is needing a stop sign or there are habitual speeders, please report it to us on the safety committee and also to Chief Mendez so that we can get that information over to the commissioners and hopefully something can be done about it. On May 24th, Christina Cole notified the principals of coming transportation service changes. June 1st, Associate Superintendent Kane Smith emailed principals with projected bus numbers for their campus. June 10th, the Board Finance Committee, which is a subcommittee, met on the hybrid route recommendations. June 13th, Board Work Session recommended a $4.7 million reduction in bus transportation. June 17th, Board Resolution on hazardous traffic conditions. Was this ever posted on the school district website? The Board Resolution on hazardous traffic conditions? I'm sorry? I think it should have been posted for people to read and see what it talked about with the hazard conditions, what their measurements were, and what they were looking at. That could have informed the public what was helping to drive these decisions. June 22nd, Kane Smith emails the principals basically saying the maps for transportation are not ready yet. June 27th, Transportation and Eligibility Plan Portal posted on the district website and social media. July 5th, schedule rollover of students into eSchool Plus. July 8th through the 10th, the district was closed due to Hurricane Beryl. July 18th, transportation eligibility maps sent to principals at each campus. Did anything go out to parents at this point? Okay. July 23rd, Transportation Department meeting with elementary principals. July 25th, email to the Board of Trustees updating us as we've been receiving emails from parents about the concern of the lack of busing. We were getting emails and we were pushing them out to operations and transportation asking, can you help these people? Can you look at this situation? Can you determine if this is safe passage for their children? Can it be a reconsideration? Can this be explained to them why they are not eligible for transportation based on the information provided? Some of them provided pictures, maps, and it's very concerning. July 29th, Cyfair Police Department crossing guard presentation to elementary principals. July 31st, email, text, phone call sent to parents of students of ineligible transportation. July 31st. To me, that's unacceptable. This is something that is very serious, and to wait until this time to inform parents basically 2.5 weeks before school starts, you no longer have transportation. And I'm confident today there's still a lot of parents that don't know they don't have transportation. August 1st, email, text, phone call sent to parents of students of eligible transportation. August 2nd, transportation plan video. It was posted on YouTube. Was it also on the district website and social media? Okay. August 5th, Chief Mendez, email and posted letter on tips for safety, walkers, and bikers. August 7th, released crossing guard and crosswalk video on YouTube, assuming that was also on the district website and social media. The majority of this timeline that I find so disturbing is this is mostly internal communications. This is not involving the public to the degree with the seriousness of this nature. And for that, I find it to be unacceptable. I feel like the district failed to communicate to parents on this vital issue in the manner that it truly deserved. I received this binder after pushing back and saying that this issue was not being addressed properly. After reviewing it, it seems like we have fallen short. I'm concerned with the fact that a great number of parents still don't know they don't have bus service. Who thinks this is in the best interest of children? Who thinks children walking in ditches on the side of busy roads in our large district without safe, hard surfaces is a good idea? What happens when it rains? Who thinks this will help our daily attendance? We stand to lose a lot of money due to that fact alone. I understand we have shortages of bus drivers and can't not currently fill all the positions, but to me that's not a reason to look at this and say, oh well. I want to say that I regret voting for this portion of our budget, and I humbly apologize to our Cyfair families. I continue to call things out as I see them and will admit when something is wrong and something needs to be changed.
Ms. Hyman?
Thank you. So summer went by so quickly, and now we're back in the boardroom, and I'm excited for the upcoming school year. Many employees were busy all summer preparing facilities and resources to be ready for students. I want to give a big shout out to facilities, operations, nutrition services, transportation, curriculum and instruction, HR, IT, and administration for your hard work and long hours over the summer. I do have a general request for administration. When the board is discussing and will be voting on board policies, I am requesting that proposed policies and policy revisions be made public as an attachment to the agenda available to the public, like other districts do as a standard practice. This would allow stakeholders to better understand what the board is considering and provide relevant comments instead of having to guess or make assumptions as to the agenda item. We've also received questions regarding the new focus and proposed changes to employee dress codes. While the employee handbook is not board policy and it is not approved or voted on by the board, we are hearing concerns. I question what prompted this change. Did this change come from board members or from administration? If there was a specific concern for one teacher or one campus, perhaps it could be handled at that campus without impacting other campuses. I'm curious, was the DEIC, which is the district-wide Educational Improvement Council, consulted or given a chance to provide input? There are teachers on that committee as well as parents. Were principals consulted, since they will be the ones who will have to enforce the changes? I'm significantly concerned about the impact on morale and question if this is a priority right now with all the other important issues that we are addressing. A woman who attends my church is a special education paraprofessional at the secondary level. She's also the parent of a child with special needs. She happens to have a section of teal color in her hair. Her hair color does not impact her ability to care for her students. There are plenty of people who wear business suits who lack professionalism. And there are plenty of teachers who wear jeans who are some of the most professional, impactful people. Let's focus on treating teachers like the professionals that they are, instead of micromanaging their clothing or hairstyles or adding any more barriers to good people who want to work for CFISD. Allowing employees to wear jeans or use hair color costs nothing, but has value to employees. Therefore, I request that no changes to the employee handbook regarding dress code or hair color are made until key employee groups, especially teachers, have an opportunity to provide input and there's a better understanding of the impact on employee morale, recruitment, and retention. Regarding transportation, and it's been covered at length by my colleagues, so I'll only focus on adding different comments. Transportation was discussed by this board during meetings in April, May, and June, and there were very difficult decisions that had to be made. At the same time that the board was struggling to find budget reductions due to the deficit, some board members were also focused on or distracted by trying to get paid chaplains to replace school counselors, censoring state-approved chapters in science and career textbooks, and increasing and codifying the power of the board into our library materials policy. I share the concern about the safety of our students, the impact on attendance, and the impact on families. It is discouraging that the state does not provide funding for transportation services less than 2 miles, causing school districts like ours to use funds that are supposed to be used for paying teachers and bus drivers and paraprofessionals through that maintenance and operations budget that Justin was talking about. This is why most school districts do not provide transportation services under 2 miles. This is also why I call on our elected state officials to increase funding for school safety, including transportation services, as well as other underfunded areas like special education and teacher pay. So today, I was informed that there's a change in board meeting agenda structure, and the agenda item for board subcommittees to provide updates will no longer be included, but board member chairs can provide updates in their monthly board comments. I applaud Christine Callback for doing that tonight, to provide the update from her committee that she chairs in her board comments tonight. These board subcommittees were created by board leadership as a new governance model. This allows some of the work of the board to be done behind closed doors. So I appreciate the opportunity to make comments on them during my own board comments. For the policy committee, I noticed in notes from the May 13th meeting, quote, from trustees, employee dress code. Look at language and see if it needs to be changed or if it is just messaging. Employees need to dress more professionally. My question is, did this influence the administration's consideration to modify the dress code? And again, I request that no changes be made based upon the statement of a small number of people, but that input be gathered from those who would be most impacted by the change. For the governance committee, which didn't have an update, my request to add language addressing nepotism and conflict of interest within a specific policy was denied, and it was suggested by General Counsel that this language be more appropriate for inclusion in our board operating procedures. I agreed, and she said she would submit this request to the governance committee. I do not know if that committee has considered this request or if they've even met. I'm also unaware of the status of confirming which version of Robert's Rules of Law we are using or if a local version will be used. This is another topic that the governance committee was supposed to be working on. For the academic vision and safety meeting, Christine did a great job reviewing our last meeting last week. I will note regarding the chapters that were censored by the board in May. Dr. Macias did tell us that her team is working hard to find instructional resources to make up for the content that was omitted by the board. Of the 13 chapters that were omitted, her team has found resources and written curriculum for 5 of them. 8 are still in progress. One course, Earth Systems, specifically Chapter 6, which is about minerals and energy resources, is especially challenging. The TEKS are brand new, and it's due to be taught the first week of October. These are the TEKS that our curriculum team is struggling to find resources for. TEKS 13B. The student explores global policies and careers related to the life cycles of Earth's resources. The student is expected to explore global and Texas-based careers that involve the exploration, extraction, production, use, disposal, regulation, and protection of Earth's resources. That doesn't sound very controversial to me. I used to want to be a petroleum engineer when I was growing up, and that sounds like a very interesting class to me. Unfortunately, because the curriculum department is struggling to find resources to teach those TEKS, Dr. Macias informed our committee that they may have to go out and purchase more instructional resources, increasing the cost to the district in order to teach those TEKS to the students who have enrolled in that course. My final comment, so despite all the challenges we are facing, I have confidence in our staff, our teachers, our paraprofessionals, our administrators, all of the support services, that we are going to be okay. We're going to get through this school year. We will meet the needs of students, we will meet them where they are, and we will provide exceptional educational opportunities to all of them. We have such a strong foundation in Cy-Fair, and I believe in us. I believe in our teachers. I believe in our community who are engaged and involved and active, and that will help make a difference. I believe in you, and I believe in us. I have nothing but best wishes for the school year, that it's full of joy, hope, laughter, and lots of learning.
I just want to make sure that so the record reflects that there was not a meeting of the Teacher Recruitment and Retention Committee. We gave a full update at the last board meeting, and the meeting was held before. And we will be having another meeting in the near future to look at the numbers of the teachers we retained, our hiring. We'll be looking at the ways to address the survey information on the time study with teachers, and continue to knock through the issues that we identified early on in our SWOT analysis. So there is no update from the Teacher Retention and Recruitment Committee.
And regarding the Finance and Operations Committee, they have not met since our last board meeting. There is no update.
Get to go last. And I'll be very, very brief. I want to extend my heartfelt thanks to our new principals and wish them really well in their new adventures going forward. Also want to offer my incredible thanks to those educators who dedicated their time and energy during our summer school programs. The graduation was a very fitting combination of the hard work that they all accomplished, these kids did. And the speech delivered by one of the graduates was truly inspiring for us all. I want to talk just briefly, we've talked ad nauseum about the transportation, and I'm sure we'll hear some more from our constituents, which we welcome. But I understand this issue is very upsetting. It's disappointing. And I acknowledge our communications surrounding it was not ideal. The situation is truly deeply regrettable, and I offer our sincere apologies for that. We recognize that we need to improve, and we're committed to getting better. I do want to point out, though, we did have a budget reduction committee, which is full of community members, parents, staff, teachers, and a whole host of other people as well that met originally and formed a lot of the emphasis of how we got to where we're at today as far as the cuts we had. We talked earlier, and I think it's been mentioned earlier, that we have done some videos to address some of the concerns around safety. And safety is a paramount issue, I think, for all of us sitting on this board. And I appreciate the administration for getting on top of that and really ensuring that our community can see what we're doing. We need to enhance our security measures around high traffic areas. We got to coordinate with law enforcement and increasing patrols as well with our own staff, making a strong, visible commitment to safety and then communicate this plan effectively. I think we also need to revamp our communication strategy going forward to ensure long-term resiliency in how we improve our engagement with our community, teachers, and staff. I know that these cuts affected many, including many trustees on this board. In fact, my own kiddo was affected by this in my neighborhood. And we too have to adapt, and we have to find ways to work together with friends and neighbors to navigate these changes. It will not be easy. Looking ahead, I want to share just some things that we're doing to improve our financial situation. The administration, this board, and several trustees have been actively meeting with our state legislators, both in Austin and locally. We are advocating for increased funding in key areas around safety, security, special education, and also, most importantly, our local homestead exemption, to name a few. Our representatives are very receptive to this approach. And as you know, they're not meeting until January, but when they do, we're very hopeful that we'll get secure funding, and that will significantly increase our financial outlook. As we prepare for our upcoming school year, I'm confident it'll be filled with opportunities for learning, for growth in our community. And whether it's on the football field, whether it's an arts performance or robotics competition, there's so much to look forward to in our district. And I wish everyone success and a fulfilling year as we begin this new chapter. We'll now proceed with citizen participation portion of our agenda. I'll turn over to our board secretary, Justin Ray, to continue.
Per BED local, patrons may address the board during the regular board meeting under citizen participation on any matters of interest or concerns that are not posted agenda items. Individuals may only register to speak one time per meeting and must register in advance. We have 27 speakers this evening, therefore each speaker will receive 1 minute. The first speaker we have is Kaylee Cowgill. Kaylee? Next speaker is Jason Covington. Jason?
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
Thank you for your time, board, superintendent. My name is Jason Covington. Is this it? My name is Jason Covington, and I'm a 6th grade math teacher at Blythe Middle School. I'm here today because Blythe Middle School ranks 17th among 20 in Cyfair in regard to math scores. Whenever we talk about what we need to do in order to improve them, we're talking about the master schedule. The IC classes, the ICS classes are misaligned this year. They weren't last year, and we made progress. Trustee LeCompte, you've actually been in the classroom that I'm talking about. Whenever I go to the administration, and I follow the chain of command. I've done everything in the world to not be here tonight. No one wants to reply to an email. No one wants to respond. We can avoid regression in this area, but I'm just asking the board for some help to avoid the avoidable. Thank you.
Thank you.
I also have a plan that I emailed everybody. There's hard copies here too if you like.
Next speaker is Jennifer Chanette.
Do I have to turn it on? No? All set to go? Okay. I will start with the new question that pops up when someone signs up to speak. It's a nicely worded warning about legal action for defamation. The truth can never be considered defamation. Let's not forget how many times trustees have encouraged citizens to come and speak. But I guess that was not in reference to all citizens, just their friends. You know, the ones who sent me anonymous emails after my comments at June's meeting. Moving on to the changes in dress code for staff specifically regarding hair color. This rule targets women, and especially black women, who may have color on their braids. This notice came out 2 weeks before the start of school. Teachers don't have time to go fix hair that they have already paid for. Their hair color has no impact on their teaching ability. Maybe the district could provide compensation because the hair salon is not cheap. But wait, we can't even afford to run all the school buses. We don't trust teachers with their personal classroom libraries. We don't trust teachers to pick out science textbooks. We don't trust our librarians, well, the ones that we have left in the district. So now let's not trust their hair choices. Maybe next up on the board, we can vote on the perfect shade of red lipstick that all female employees will be required to wear. I printed out some pictures that technically fit the new criteria of naturally occurring hair color. Would this be okay for our teachers? I trust our teachers to wear the right color hair. Thank you.
Leslie Gilmert.
Is it on? Yes. Happy new school year. Schools help students reach their potential. That calls for smart thinking from leaders, especially with the state holding our funding hostage. Since the 2023 election, the CFISD board has made decisions that are not smart. They've reduced transparency, wasted time debating whether to hire chaplains, censored instructional materials, disregarded the calendar committee, rushed to cut librarian and counselor positions, made the library policy more restrictive, and pointed fingers over the bus situation just now. I am thankful for our one common sense trustee, but she's outnumbered. Elections have consequences. To make matters worse, CFISD is about to start policing teachers' hair color and pants. That is not how you retain and attract talent, not smart. So we need to vote smart, send pro-public ed candidates to Austin this fall, and in 2025, let's flip this board and make CFISD strong again.
Manuel Aranda. Manuel Aranda. Suzanne, is it Bath or Suzanne? Catherine Cohn.
Good evening, Catherine Kahn. I have spent the last 18 years pouring into the children in this community. And this evening, I'm afraid. You decided to revoke bus privileges in the second top human trafficking area in the nation. Many of our subdivisions have registered sex offenders too close for comfort. Walking in the dark, often on unpaved paths, is not only an inconvenience to parents, students, and commuters, it's dangerous. A child will be hurt. You've elected to reduce librarians and support staff, omit core curriculum, but include biblical learning? Is this separation of church and state? Who is going to help these students locate additional supports for their new theological learning? And what about other supplemental texts, such as the Quran? I would like to believe that my substance is more important than my appearance. But demanding professional and support staff adhere to an archaic dress code undermines my authority and my autonomy as a professional educator in this district.
Your time is up. Please conclude your comments.
Are you prepared to offer a stipend for those who aren't looking the way you demand? Families, teachers, and support staff are leaving the
Ms. Khan,
district at
please conclude
record
your
numbers.
comments. Please conclude your comments.
As public
Thank you.
servants, do better.
Thank you. Mario Rivas.
Good evening, everybody. Dr. Henry, Dr. Natalie, I want to thank you personally because you really went with me to route my child's route. Ms. Christine, thank you for your email. Thank you very much. Okay, like I said, key concerns is transportation. Critical points. Imagine a young child, backpack in tow, navigating a road like Winford Road no sidewalks, no ditches, cars speeding more than 40 miles an hour is not a path for any parent will choose, correct? Well, my son will have to walk on Windfern, which is no sidewalks, only ditches on both sides, heavily trafficked road with 40 miles an hour speed limit, and the only traffic light is a Perry Road which lacks a protective crossing. According to your criteria, which is right here, on bullet number 2, it says, within 2 miles, if heavily trafficked thoroughfare without protecting crossing. Therefore, Windfern Road is not a protected crossing. Therefore, my child should be expected to be on a bus. The school bus is not a
Mr. Rivas, your
convenience,
time
but a
is over.
critical
Please
one.
conclude your comments.
Okay, I'll conclude it.
Thank you.
There's 21 children who has been hit by cars on the north side between 2018 and 2023.
Mr. Rivas, please conclude your comments. Everybody has 1 minute, sir.
I stand before you not as a concerned parent, but as a guardian of our future. If something happens to our children, we as parents will hold the board accountable. A safety of our children is non-negotiable.
Thank you for your comments, sir. Thank
and
you.
I urge you to reconsider the decision and explore alternative solutions that do not compromise our children's safety over budget cuts and undress
Sir,
stress
please
working
take your
for
seat.
melodies.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're blessed.
Katia Felina?
I'm a concerned mother of an 8th grader from Smith Middle School. It's a campus of Warner Elementary, Smith, and Cyrange. We are located off the Fry Road. Everybody knows what Fry Road is. There is obviously no protected crossing. It's a 4-lane. I've attached pictures of different car accidents that happened. It hit Cyrange entrance. It hit and knocked over brick walls and damaged houses, and there is no sidewalk for our children to walk. How can we request risk assessment to perform properly for such a huge campus? Number one. Number two, I'm asking you to assess an opportunity maybe to offer parents to pay for buses. Why not? That might be an option. And the other one is, I'm sorry. It's been very emotional today. And we also ask to extend school hours to give parents a little bit more time. We have to work. Mothers and fathers work.
Thank you, Ms. Felina. Your time is up.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I can provide copies if you would like to look.
Rory Porter?
Coming in also on the transportation side of things, like she said, the parents have to work. I have to be at work at 7 a.m., don't get off until 4 p.m. That concludes the time that my daughter can't be on the campus until 7:30. She does not get out of school until 3:10. So either way it go, I'm still at work by the time she get there and she gets home. Again, down Tailgate, there are no sidewalks. There is not even a flat plane for them to be able to walk. There's a ditch on both sides. It's a human trafficking. There's overgrown bushes that are out in the street. Where do you expect for them to walk? They gonna slide. If it's raining, they're sliding in a ditch, or they have to walk in the street, which we all know that that's not gonna be a safe position either way it goes. Somebody got to do something. We all have to work. Things are expensive. You have travel nurses. You have parents that just have to go. Hell, we got to be able to afford groceries. So at the very least, y'all could at least be able to get the kids to school so that they can be there. If you don't have kids in the seat, you don't have no money anyway. So.
Kevin Hawkins? Kevin Hawkins. Jill Center?
Hello. I have comments on 2 topics. First, it is my hope that in the interest of transparency, the board will consider that in addition to the creation and implementation of committees to involve a few members of the community, that the board might consider instituting something like a town hall where it is a meeting of the public a few times a year where the public can be part of a discussion and keep the board connected to all parts of the community on large-scale issues. Secondly, I would urge the board to consider an alternate or additional approach when looking at adding elective courses. We have several well-developed courses that are already on offer for our district, but not offered on all campuses. Examples would be like ASL or Latin, and a variety of art, history, and CTE courses. Before adding new electives and committing to the finance and time cost in the creation of curriculum, we as a district should survey interest and the feasibility of instituting electives already prepared across the district to provide opportunities to all students to explore a variety of passions and pursuits. Thank you.
Ashley Buckner.
Good evening. Can y'all hear me? Show of hands from the board if you can drive and are willing to get your CDL. Just kidding. Sorry, that was rude. I would just like to remind each of you that you are public servants and you should act accordingly. Thank you.
Carissa Mancias. Jeffrey Bout. John Mossop. Ah Huyen.
Good evening. My name is Win. I would like to bring your attention to a proposal that I believe would greatly benefit our students and contribute to a more inclusive environment with... Good evening. My name is Win. I would like to bring your attention to a proposal that I believe would greatly benefit our students and contribute to a more inclusive environment within CFISD. Our students learn by example, and CFISD's leadership has rightly pointed out that cultural awareness leads to well-rounded students. Meanwhile, cultural literacy reliably contributes to a higher standardized test scores. In light of this, I propose that we introduce Asian American Studies as an elective. Asian Americans make up a significant and growing percentage of CFISD. Some CFIC schools now have 30 or more percentage of Asian American students. Introducing Asian American Studies elective would send a clear message to CFIC families that we want our schools to be stronger through a multi-ethnic heritage, that Asian Americans communities are welcome and valued at CFISD. We want all to foster a supportive environment for all students. It is noteworthy. It is worth noting that other districts in Texas, such as Round Rock ISD, have already begun offering Asian American Studies in partnership with the Center for Asian American Studies at UT Austin. Thank you for your consideration and making
Thank you very much.
truly a place that leads to all.
Amanda Palanes.
Good evening. Hello, my name is Amanda Palanes, and I'm the mother of 4. My 12-year daughter is currently at Arnold Middle School and was given very little notice and will not be eligible for bus transportation. Arnold is 1.9 from our neighborhood, and there are 2 options en route for my 12-year-old to take. Option 1, 290 feeder to the Telge, where the concern of safety would be the abundance in hotels and industrial buildings that are along the way that are hotspots for sex trafficking and homeless people. The other route would be Cypress North Houston, with the concern that once the kids will have to be leaving the poorly lit neighborhood at 6 a.m., since I have personally taken the walk with one of your board members in an estimated time of 55 minutes, with one option to cross over a 4-lane highway with no crosswalks. My child will begin her over-mile walk down Cypress North Houston, where there are no sidewalks, no barriers to block her from being hit along the highway. You are deemed this route safe. Once these students reaches Telge, they will be walking through ongoing construction that has numerous potholes and steep ditches that will have to be climbed in and out of in 100-degree weather and or accumulated water should flooding take place, with their 15 to 20-pound backpacks on. Please reconsider the ineligible status of transportation of our children's safeties and lives are at great risk. I know you guys are having conversations, but we need solutions, and we need them before school starts on Monday.
Thank you for your comments. Megan Jasper. Caleb Holmes. Did I skip Megan Jasper? Is Megan in attendance?
Do I need to, is it on?
It is on.
Okay, sorry. Hi, I'm Megan Jasper. I have been a public education advocate for the past 4 years. And I was previously the president of Moms for Liberty for Harris County. And I currently am in the Texas Truth Movement on the Education Committee, and also was one of the founders of the Harris County Parents for Education. And I just want to say that you 6 are doing a great job. You guys don't get enough recognition from the public. I watch it online with other people in the community, and it's appalling how you guys are treated and how another board member throws you guys under the bus on a regular. We saw it earlier tonight. Many conservatives are scared to come here and speak because the same group of people will make fun of them online, and I'm sure they're going to do it with this video right now. I'm showing up. I don't care. I'm not scared.
Many are scared to lose their jobs because these people will call their work and get them fired. It's really bad that people are bullied to not speak.
Thank you. I have the microphone. I will say when it is time, and it is your time. Thank you, Ms. Jasper. Your time is up.
Thank you.
Okay, I need the audience. We will clear the room if you can't be quiet.
Caleb Holmes.
Hello. All right. So I'm not going to talk about any of the hot topics because, that's not a smart decision right now. But I do want to talk about something personal to me and in recognizing one of our board members today who, I know she doesn't want the recognition, but I'm going to give her the recognition either way. Today, our student council went and handed out donuts, 4 dozen donuts that were donated by one of our trustees today, handed out 4 dozen donuts to our faculty who started their summer a little bit early. And the trustee that did it, she didn't want any recognition. She didn't want any photos. She didn't want to make it a photo op. And instead of, going out there handing the donuts, she allowed us to do it. And while she was doing that, while we were doing that, she was helping a parent whose English was not his first language. She was helping him register his student for school who was transferring from Bridgeton to Cypress Ranch. And she wanted to stay out of it. She didn't want any recognition today, but I wanted to say that, our students, it's a very, they're very hot topics and they're issues that our district face, but we want to say that we appreciate, the works that you guys do, all of you guys.
Thank you, Caleb. Your time is up. Thank you. Dave Mann.
Hello again. I hope you're beginning to see it. The national issues, the culture warrior stuff, the censorship, getting overly involved in the day-to-day, which was read this evening, isn't the role of the board. Getting to the point at which you start pushing political agendas hurts the kids in the school district. I hope you see it. I really do. I hope that some of the stuff that you ran on and you promised and probably think in your own head isn't going to help us. You have a governor who believes all that, who's holding this money ransom. And now you have to sit here and listen to us rant and rave about stuff we know you don't really control. I mean, you probably thought like, oh, yeah, third biggest school district, biggest A-rated school district. This is going to be great. Is it? You want to get back to basics? Run a school district.
Melinda Abel. There you are.
Good evening. My name is Melinda Abel, and I am a parent of a Cypher senior and a teacher at Arnold Middle School. I teach intervention. Our school currently has 73% economically disadvantaged. Yesterday, I Facebook Live my walk because I wanted to know what my kids were going through. I can't talk the talk if I haven't walked the walk. So I walked it yesterday about the same time. There are bushes that have to be cut, so I'm going to take it upon myself if it's not cut by Monday to do it myself. Michael Barstow, our AP at Arnold, has volunteered to help because I had to walk in the road just to get by. If you watch my Facebook Live, and I tried to tag some board members so you could just see it. I had to walk at an angle. By the time I got to the end of Telge, my ankles were hurt. But the crossing from Cypress North Houston to Telge, I waited 5.5 minutes. The light never turned pedestrian. Our kids are going to walk across, and I did say I don't advise this, but I ran across just so I could see. I'm a fast walker. It took me 41 minutes to walk from Starwood Farms, which is 1.9 miles.
Thank you, ma'am. Your time is up. Please conclude your comments.
From getting bus service. So I encourage you to take the walk so you can understand the frustration that I will have to deal with when they get to school. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Absolutely. Carden Truong.
Is this working? Okay. Hello, board members and Dr. Killian. I would like to comment on the course requesting the addition of the AP Comparative Government and Politics class at our school. According to our course catalog, we only have 2 law political related classes, with street law open to juniors and seniors, and government a graduation requirement for seniors only. The addition of AP comparative government would not only diversify our government and political class catalog, it would also introduce a unique class where students will be able to study the political systems of Great Britain, Iran, Nigeria, Mexico, China, and Russia, which would also assist them in preparing for them if they have interest in working in diplomacy, government, or politics as a whole. Thank you.
Brett Robinson.
Thank you, trustees and Dr. Killian, for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Brad Robinson, running for State Representative District 130. I am a former student of CFISD, went to Black Elementary, Goodson Middle, and Sidewoods High School. I care immensely about this district and its parents, teachers, and students. And it's only been 6 years since I've been a student, and already the next generation will have less opportunities than I did growing up here. Governor Abbott blew a hole in CFISD's budget and in school boards all across the state by withholding $4 billion in public education funding for his voucher scam. To those who think vouchers will not defund our public schools, it is already happening. My old bus route no longer exists, and parents in my own neighborhood are worried sick about their kids walking in the dark as they beg our HOA to install lighting estimated to cost us $30,000. Abbott's holding these funds hostage, and the consequences are trickling down to our neighborhoods. I ask the board to please write a letter to Governor Abbott with other school boards in Texas signing on, demanding that Abbott release these funds that have already been passed by the Texas legislature. That is our money, and you work for us. Thank you.
Jonathan Taylor.
Hey, good evening. First time at a school board meeting. I've only got 1 minute, so I'm here about the buses. I know there's a lot of issues about safety. On Barker Cypress there, this summer a man was hit on a sidewalk, so sidewalks don't make the street safe. Another issue was I'd urge you to go home tonight and look at the sexual offender map and draw a 1 mile radius around there, or whatever it is that you're saying you can't, my kids can't go, and see how many people are in that circle. I bet you'll triple and double check your locks tonight. Something else too, I didn't know Governor Abbott is the one holding the money. I don't know if there's anything that we can help with the school district to maybe do petitions to get signatures. Is there a website that can host the petitions? We'll get those going. I'm going to get involved, do what I can to help, but I mean, we need some guidance.
Thank you. Mary Ann Jackson.
Good evening. I have lived and worked in Cy-Fair ISD for over 25 years, and even though I had worked in Cy-Fair for many years, I didn't start engaging with the school board until the meetings in 2020, when our world flipped over and our community became very divided over various issues like the forced masking of children and the progressive ideology being embedded in the curriculum. So I see things a lot differently, and I remember the summer, and we started coming to the school board meetings, and I'm very glad to see the people that are sitting there on the board right now that won their elections, and that we are seeing the differences that they are making in this school district. So thank you very much for all the hard work you do. I know you spend lots of time and hours. I want y'all to know you are appreciated. It's a very challenging job, and I just want you to hear that there are people that are grateful, and I encourage everybody else to go to Austin and share these complaints, because that's who needs to hear some of this. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Your comments are up. Jared Hostetler.
Yes, I'm here to share my concern and about the school bus transportation plan and how it's been removed bus service from my neighborhood. We were given notice, 18 days prior to the school start, which is completely unreasonable for parents to make responsible decisions on how to get their kids to school. And I'm greatly disheartened by that. Also, I'd like to say that it's you guys are the experts at mass transporting kids to school, not parents, and it's very sad that you guys put this in an untimely manner on the parents, asking them to do it themselves. And also, I heard a lot of people saying, that we're aligned with other districts as far as removing the school bus service within a 2 mile radius, but did the other districts also remove the bus service first and then think about safety last? It's like you guys are trying to launch the space shuttle and add seatbelts later. Thank you.
Karina Gonzalez from John Rosenthal's office.
Let's see, the second time is a lucky charm. My name is Karina, District Director for Representative Rosenthal's office. You all have heard, teachers are angry, students are suffering. You all are suffering too, because the state doesn't release the funding for public education, public school. I'm here to inform you all, our office is open to everybody, including yourself. Please come work with us to support our students, to prepare them for what's to come in the state, okay? We are not here to fight with one another, okay? We're here for the support of the children. Please work together, okay? Thank you for your time.
And that concludes our citizen comments.
The reports portion of the agenda was presented at the board work session on Thursday, August 8th. However, there are several patrons this evening who'd like to speak on this item. Our first speaker is Shannon Thomas. And you'll have 2 minutes.
Okay. Good evening. I'm Shannon Thomas, current PACE teacher in the district, Jersey Village cheer coach, and National Honor Society sponsor. I'm also a parent of 3 Cypher ISD graduates. I also am a product of Cypher ISD, graduating from Jersey Village High School in 1991. I have been teaching some form of the PACE curriculum for over 25 years. I have helped rewrite this curriculum many times when their name has changed. We rewrite this curriculum to reflect the changing needs of all students in our district. Much like the freshman college seminar course that students are required to take to transition from high school to post-secondary education, the PACE curriculum is set up so that kids are making the transition from middle school to high school, and therefore it is an integral part of the CFISD graduation requirements. PACE stands for Personal, Academic, and Career Exploration. It is a non-tested, project-based class that allows us the freedom to work one-on-one with students and build relationships to help guide them throughout their high school career. It allows them to make many informed decisions about their future. College Academy that sets students up to earn their associate and high school degree at the same time is run through this PACE curriculum. This is the first step in helping students earn their associate's degree and to prepare them to take their dual credit classes. We spend several weeks preparing the students to take the PSAT or TSI so that they can earn the score needed on the test to be considered college ready. Furthermore, we work to create individualized four-year plans for students that will ensure they earn their associate's degree or get the college dual credits at hours that they want to be possible. The students of PACE College Academy classes have the unique opportunity to work with Lone Star advisors through this course. As PACE teachers, we walk students through the clubs and organizations on campus and create opportunities for them to gain experience and volunteer opportunities that can be used on their college applications.
Thank you.
Please allow us to continue to be an advocate and champion for not only your kids, but for all kids in Cypher ISD.
Thank you. Pardon, Paul.
All right. Hello, board members and Dr. Killian. I am commenting on behalf of my classmates regarding the changes to our district academics, especially the K-level change proposed in the previous board meeting, where if there is an AP or DC option for the class, then the K-level version will be removed. This decision was the only decision that was not well received by my classmates, as this decision would result in the on-level of such courses requiring significant readjustment and time to readjust, so the class would not be too easy for some students, and yet not too hard for other students to fill the large course rigor gap. Additionally, we, the students, proposed that the district lowered the KH level weight from 7.0 to 6.5 as the alternative, since students will be able to take the K level, be satisfied with the course rigor, and have motivations to do AP DC if they would like the 7.0 points or generally more demanding classwork or the college credit. Thank you.
Thank you. Tamia Bryce, pronounce that right?
Good evening. My name is Tamia Bryce. I am the PACE team lead at Cypress Park High School. I am a graduate and a product of CFISD and have been teaching in this district for the past 6 years. PACE stands for Personal Academic Career Exploration, all of which are vital qualities that our students need to learn. The Cy-Fair Portrait of a Graduate says students should lead with communication, innovation, integrity, curiosity, resilience, and empathy. That is what PACE teaches our students, how to be a productive member of society. I have taught PACE for 2 years, and in that time, I have seen that it is one of the most valuable assets for preparing our students to succeed inside and outside of high school. In PACE, we help students build their 4-year plans and do an in-depth look at the course listings, career goals, and AP dual credit opportunities. This is a huge help for counselors so students are more informed and prepared for their schedule advisory meetings. Also, PACE allows for the foundation of the College Academy program, where students are able to receive their associate's degree while enrolled in high school. PACE teaches students about learning styles, study skills, how to navigate difficult personalities, GPA calculation, and we practice job application and job interview skills, which are direct skills that they learn or they need to learn for the job market. PACE is a semester-long course that has a lifelong impact on our students and our community. Please, I urge you to keep it as a requirement for graduation so we can equip our students with the tools they need to excel in and outside of high school. If we don't do it, who will? Thank you.
Thank you. Michelle Biffle.
Good evening. I'm Michelle Biffle, a PACE teacher at Langham Creek High School, a graduate of Cy-Fair High School, and a parent of 4 Cy-Fair ISD graduates. So firsthand, I know the positive impact that PACE has had on me and my children. So thank you for this opportunity to address the board and community on the critical role that PACE plays in our students' education. While I could speak at length about the many facets of our curriculum, I want to highlight one area that our students consistently find valuable, and that's learning to calculate GPA. When students first enter high school, most have never calculated a GPA, nor do they fully grasp the long-term impact of their freshman grades on their overall academic record. Without this understanding, students may unknowingly set themselves back, believing that a B average is sufficient in reaching their goals. While a B average is commendable, in PACE we emphasize that good is a relative term and it's dependent on individual aspirations. For students aiming to achieve or to attend highly selective universities or secure a place in the top 10% of their class, GPA is more than just a number. It influences class rank, eligibility for honors programs, scholarships, and special recognition. By teaching students how to calculate and track their GPA, we empower them to make informed decisions about their academic journey from day one. This knowledge fosters a sense of ownership and responsibility, enabling students to align their efforts with their future goals. So in short, PACE equips our students with the tools that they need to succeed, ensuring that they're not just reacting to their grades, but actively shaping their academic and professional futures. Thank you.
Thank you. Jacqueline Aguilar. Jacqueline? Oh, sorry.
Good evening. I'm Jacqueline Aguilar. I am not a product of CFISD. I am a product of HISD, believe it or not, so I am an outlier here. However, I will say that I had the great honor of going to an early college high school, so I learned a lot about general education for higher education before I even understood what it was when I graduated, of course, in 2015. Long story short, what's the point? The point is that this class, PACE, is extremely valuable, even if the kids do not understand it, even if the kids do not choose it, right? So, point blank, I believe it needs to remain a required course no matter what, because we have low-income students. They are not informed by their parents, generation by generation. We know this, which leaves that responsibility to teachers, to PACE instructors, to tell them about different options career-wise that they can take. That is all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Lori Lewis.
Ooh, I'm a little tall. Hold on. Okay. Good evening to the board. Thank you for allowing me to talk today. My name is Lori Lewis, and not only am I a 2006 graduate of Cypress Ridge High School, but I have proudly served this community for the past 11 years as a teacher. Throughout my time as a student, I wondered, why do I need to learn how to write in cursive? Why do I need to take a keyboarding class? I know how to type. Why do I need to take BCIS? Why do I need to take professional communications? All classes that are no longer required for students to graduate. And I did not have that answer until I became a teacher, because I have students that don't know what a signature is. I have students that don't grasp basic computer skills. I have students that cringe at the thought of public speaking, cannot maintain eye contact, and cannot have positive interactions with their peers. This is why PACE is important, because this is what it teaches them. If we want our future graduates to be effective communicators and competent problem solvers, then we need to provide them with the tools and classes to make that possible. And that starts with keeping PACE as a graduation requirement. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Amanda Mann.
My tall friend. To my short friend. Hello, everyone. My name is Amanda Mahon, and I have had the privilege of becoming a Cyfair ISD teacher for the last 20 years. I know. 12 of those years, I have been a professional instructor as well as a quantum learning facilitator. I truly believe in the integrity, the growth, and the collaboration of people. And PACE course, it works in tandem with quantum learning. We offer all of our teachers thousands of hours of instructional support. We believe in preparing our teachers. PACE is the course that prepares our future anything, whether that be someone that has a professional career, someone that enlists in the military, a future mother. The skills, the preparation that we gain from PACE is the most valuable asset that we could give our students. I will leave you with these numbers. As a new teacher, we say that you must engage in about 56 hours of professional development to feel confident and competent to teach our future. PACE class is just about that same amount of time. We want our students to be a part of a community where they can engage, where they know how to interact, how to speak, how to problem solve. PACE is the course where my students learn that they have an opportunity, where I can share stories about my husband being in the military and showing them that we can grow as a community. My parents weren't born here. We came here. My dad was an accountant. He was very intelligent, but did not know the process of enrolling me. And so I had to learn that by myself, because I do believe in higher education. Please, let's continue to be the lead, to be the third largest district. And with that, we have to really equip with our students with all of these amazing tools that my friend Lori just told you about.
Thank you.
Thank you. If we believe in professional development, then we believe in PACE.
Jennifer Nobles.
Hello, everybody. I've never been here before. So I was a mentor working with the PACE program for about 4 years. And in addition to that, both of my children have graduated from Jersey Village High School, 2 boys. One of them just graduated this last May and is headed to Texas A&M. They have both benefited so greatly and so differently from this program. The program has, their freshman year, it was so instrumental in preparing them from the transition between middle school and high school. It introduced them to the concept of a GPA, which they had never heard before, and why it was important. I think one of the other speakers talked about how it showed them that they'd never heard of a GPA, and why did they need to know about it, and why was it important, and why was a B not always an acceptable grade if your goal is to be in the top 10% so that you're guaranteed admission. This program, it gave them a path. It showed them how to study, which was super important for both of my children. It also taught them how to talk to teachers and the importance of creating a relationship with people that you may or may not agree with, something people seem to really need more than ever, which I've definitely noticed here tonight. The College Academy assisted them in choosing classes based on their goals, specifically preparing them for college classes. Through the College Academy, my children learned how to log in and create accounts at Lone Star, register for and pay for dual credit courses, and understand why these courses would be helpful for them going into college. This allowed them to go into college with more than 30 hours of credits. My children personally were lucky enough to have parents that have been through the college process, however long ago that was. Most children in our school have not. The push for more first-generation students in Texas colleges goes hand in hand with providing this education to these children. That's why I strongly support the PACE program. Thank you.
Thank you. Madeline Kling.
Good evening, my name is Madeline Kling. I go to Cypress Ranch High School, and I'm just here to give the perspective of a student. 2 days ago, I attended a theater festival where I attended workshops to establish my theater department more with some of the best directors in the state. All of them mentioned the importance of having a SMART goal. Thankfully, I knew what a SMART goal was because I took PACE my freshman year. PACE gives students imperative skills that they can apply to their real life. I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not going to use calculus once I graduate high school, but I will need to know how to set an attainable goal and what I need to do to achieve that. I don't know if you know the statistic, but 70% of students who choose to drop out of high school make that decision their freshman year. So why would we choose to eliminate a class that allows them to set themselves up for success? If we take away their path to success and the resources that they need, that dropout might increase. As a senior, I'm currently working on my college applications and building my resume to apply for jobs and internships. And every single day I think about how grateful I am that I know how to calculate my GPA and how to add soft skills to my resume. PACE has taught me imperative skills that I have used to gain myself opportunities. We've already cut transportation, so we really shouldn't cut education. Thank you so much for your time.
Stacey McDaniel.
Good evening, and thank you for taking the time to listen to the concerns being raised tonight regarding the potential removal of the PACE program. I, too, am a product of CFISD, going from Reed to Dean to Jersey Village. I've also been in the district for teaching for 18 years. I hope you've had the opportunity to do some research on the value of PACE because it's impossible to convey the full breadth of our curriculum in just 2 minutes. Let's focus on the essential aspect. Career and Technical Education, CTE electives. Our district offers an impressive 131 CTE electives, and PACE is just the vehicle through which students learn about these opportunities. On many campuses, students even participate in tours of CTE classrooms, hearing directly from teachers and current students about the courses offered. It's important to understand that the district receives funding based on the number of students enrolled in advanced CTE electives, as well as for students who earn industry-recognized certifications. Additionally, we earn college, career, and military readiness CCMR points for these certifications, which serve as a critical measure of our district success in preparing students for life beyond high school. But for students to take full advantage of these opportunities, they must be first aware of the available tracks and courses. In 8th grade, students are asked to create a 4-year plan in just 1 day. While some parents are well-versed in endorsements and graduation requirements, many are not. This is where PACE plays a pivotal role. In 9th grade, we spend 2 weeks working on these plans, allowing students to make informed adjustments as they gain a deeper understanding of the electives and pathways available to them. It's rare for a student not to want to make changes after we've discussed the multitude of options offered. Do you think 8th graders know what accounting is? Do you think they know what business information management is? Or they're going to read the course description booklet? Probably not. The one-on-one interactions we have with the students in PACE are crucial. These conversations allow students to fine-tune their plans as they navigate high school, ensuring they are the best path to meet their goals. Without PACE, students would miss out on critical guidance, and the burden would fall more heavily on counselors, parents, and most importantly, the students themselves. I urge you to consider the far-reaching impact that removing PACE would have, not just on our school counselors and parents, but on the futures of the students we are here to serve. Thank you.
Thank you. Brian Canales.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Brian Canales, and I am a rising senior at Jersey Village High School. First and foremost, I want to thank everybody for allowing me to speak on today's agenda. And with that, I'd like to move on as to why I believe that PACE should be continued to be emphasized within the CFISD curriculum. In today's generation, our world, our youth, have to navigate a difficult, challenging digital world that doesn't prioritize conversations about career development or thinking about our future. I can tell you firsthand that our generation doesn't really talk about going to college, the prospect of attending a vocational school, or even starting your own business. When I was thrusted into high school as a young 14-year-old, I had no clue as to what I was going to do. But it was classes like PACE that really allowed me to nurture my young mind and gave me the spark to go out and take the initiative to research my own colleges and my own future. And quite possibly, PACE is the only reason I was able to attend a prestigious summer program by MIT this past summer. And I think that's an opportunity that should be allowed and afforded to all students in CFISD. So take it from the words of a young boy actually living in the 21st century, because it can change the world for so many. Thank you.
Thank you. Rachel Morales.
Good evening. My name is Rachel Morris, and I would like to share a little bit about the college and career portion of our PACE curriculum, which is just one aspect of the comprehensive education we provide. We work with a wide range of students, many of whom are uncertain about their future paths. That's why we place a strong emphasis on researching options. Our approach is not about limiting students, it's about encouraging them to explore all the possibilities available to them after high school. We help students understand the benefits of various post-secondary options, including four-year colleges, community colleges, technical and trade schools, and even the military. We ensure that they know there isn't just one right path, and we provide the tools to explore multiple avenues. In addition to post-secondary options, we guide students in researching careers to determine the necessary education and training for their desired fields. PACE offers dedicated time for students to investigate colleges and careers that align with their passions and aspirations. We recognize that many students have a limited knowledge based on their personal experiences, and we aim to broaden their horizons. For instance, there are 105 public and 59 private universities and colleges in Texas alone, each offering a wide range of programs. But beyond that, do you know all the specialized careers within fields like medicine, engineering, or agriculture? For example, careers like a water resource engineer or sustainability specialist might not be on the students' radars, but these are exciting, fulfilling options that PACE encourages them to explore. By educating students about various colleges and career paths, we empower them to make informed decisions about their futures. They gain a better understanding of the vast range of options available to them and can choose a path that truly aligns with their interests, strengths, and long-term goals. So before you make the decision to remove PACE, I invite you to please sit down with some teachers before you make that decision so you can make an informed decision. Thank you.
The board will now review the following consent agenda items. During the review of the following action items, board members may review one or more items, at which time these items will be addressed and voted on individually. If any board member has a question regarding an agenda item, please ask to be recognized on the consent agenda items. 6A, the board consider approving minutes from June 17th. 6B, the board consider approving agreement on purchase attendance credits for 2024-2025 school year. We do have one speaker on this. Satra Henry.
Good evening. My name is Satara Henry. I am not a product of any Texas school system. I went to school in Maryland, so a lot of this is different for me. My understanding that is in Texas that the commission determines the cost of attendance credits for the school year based on the district's maintenance and operations tax revenue and daily average daily attendance. So earlier when you spoke, Trustee Ray, you mentioned that looking at the transportation plan, we considered safety, and then we also considered the finances. What I ask you to do is to look at those as tied together. If for these attendance credits, there is a component on the attendance of the students. If you don't address the school safety, then the students can't make it to school. And so you're going to have further financial impact. So when you're looking at these contingency plans and these countermeasures, we need to look at what are we going to do about dogs, right? We need to look at what are we going to do when there is a hurricane and the streets are blocked with litter for weeks. That is going to impact student attendance. And so before we address these other issues, we may want to invite other stakeholders who can look at some of these other considerations that the board itself may not have considered. Thank you.
6C, the board will consider a resolution approving the individual authorized to calculate the no new revenue tax, voter approval tax rate, and the other and truth in taxation requirements. 6D, the board consider approving the annual contract with Avena Healthcare. 6E, the board consider authorizing the superintendent to execute a member understanding with Texas Women's University and Idaho State University for speech pathology field placement. 6F, the board consider approving the interlocal agreement with the University of Houston. 6G, the board consider approving the Harris County Road Drainage Easement near Cypress Ridge High School. This item may have been discussed in closed session. 6H, the board consider approving the Second Amendment to the Water and Sewage Drainage Services contract between Harris County Municipal District 264 and Cypress-Fairbanks ISD. And then 6I, the board consider approving and awarding bids and contracts authorizing purchase agreements recommended for the posted agenda items. 6I1, approving catalog bid requests for banquet, catering, and concessions. 6I2, group term life insurance renewals. And 6I3, MAP growth, or the MAP evaluation services. If any board member wishes to remove one or more of these items for further discussion, please do so at this time. Seeing none, at this time I'll entertain a motion to approve the consensus items as recommended or amended.
I move that we approve the consensus items as recommended.
May I have a second?
Second.
Here in a second, we'll now go for a vote. All those in favor, please sing by raising your right hand. I believe that is unanimous. We'll now proceed to the non-consent agenda items. The board will consider approving on first reading additions, revisions, deletions to 7A1, CKE, Safety Program Risk Management, Security Personnel. 7A2, CKEA, Security Personnel, Commission Peace Officers. 7A3, CQC, Technology Resources Equipment Revised. May I have a motion, please?
Excuse me, may I?
Oh,
That's
you gotta
okay.
get a motion first.
Okay.
I move that the board approve on first reading additions, revisions, or deletions to district policies, BBD local, board member training and orientation revised, CKE local, safety program, risk management, security personnel with the deletion, CKE local, security personnel, commissioned peace officers revision, and CQC local, technology resources equipment and revised.
May I have a second?
Second.
Yes, Ms. Simon, go ahead. Question.
I recommend that agenda item 7A3 regarding CQC local be removed to be considered when it's complete, since the content of the what we're approving is missing.
Yeah, so I did actually follow up with the policy service about, and they are considering adding the standards to, the 11 standards to CKE legal, which was our understanding. But what they shared was the statute actually requires TEA to adopt the standards, which is why they hadn't put it in CKE, which was our initial understanding. And then school districts implement operationally how you're going to put those required standards in place. So many school districts are just putting everything in regulation and just putting the statement that the board, authorizes that. We've talked about, we can list in local what the TEA required standards are, and that we we will implement those through our operational regulation. And so, but I couldn't get confirmation before the board meeting because apparently they hadn't made a final decision on putting it in legal. But what I had said is that between first and second reading, we can add the 11 standards. They're in the administrative code. I mean, we can just add them so you don't have to actually figure out what they are when you're looking at the policy. We can do that. I mean, if you want to remove it and bring it back for a first reading, we can do that. Or like what we do with some policies, if you would like to have us put that, and then it may ultimately just be duplicative. It may end up in QC legal as well, but we don't have control over the content of that. That just gets uploaded. So either way, whatever the board wants to do, it would be fine. We are implementing operationally the standards, and so this is just getting our policy up to standard. But I actually thought it was Teresa and I said, oh, that was a really good suggestion. So I'm sorry we didn't think of that. But yeah, it's a good suggestion to have them there in legal, so you don't have to look for them in the legal or the administrative code. But so it would be up to the board.
That's my only comment.
I would like to make a statement that I do believe putting some policy in place, because this is all around student privacy laws. This is SIPA, PPRA, COPPA, HIPAA, FERPA, and a new state layer on that. And some of the standards that they're discussing is minimizing data collection, ensuring direct and informed parental consent, ensuring parents understand cybersecurity risks, internet filtering, adjustments by age level for electronic device use in the classroom, considering restrictions on student access to social media, determining alternate software to social media for students, assigning officers to address concerns and software applications that comply with subchapter D. And so to me, this is something that is so critical, and we've heard a lot of concern from families. I have a lot of concern personally, even as we delve into some safety measures. We all know AI is a new tool that's being used in many ways in education, and so I would like us to consider this policy even without all the complete information, because I think it adds a layer of protection for families.
Mr. President, as a maker of the motion, I'm open to a friendly amendment by Trustee Heineman. So your request was that we maybe postpone it to the next meeting. Go ahead.
Yes, because we're being asked to vote on this that talks about adopting the model health and safety guidelines for the effective integration of digital devices in schools, but there are no guidelines listed. They're missing.
So as we amend this policy, you would like to have the guidelines, even though we're referencing guidelines that's published somewhere else, you would like to see the guidelines actually referenced in the policy that we approve?
Well, my understanding, the guidelines are not actually created yet, but there are standards that are listed in the administrative code.
It's a matter of law. That's
Right.
the reason they're not listed in there separately. That's typically the practice if something is a matter of law. The local policy would just be how you're implementing it. But I do think it makes sense, even if it's duplicative, to have them listed out, and then that way they're in one place. And we can do that between first and second reading, or you can pull it and bring it back. It would just take, another second reading.
Marnie, any concerns with statutory construction if we went along with Trustee Heineman's recommendation?
No, it would just, like I said, it'd probably just be duplicative, because I think it's going to end up in CQC legal.
I think it's important that the information is available so that parents and community members can go to our policies online and see what we're agreeing to.
One other question, is there a timeliness consideration? Do we have to have this passed by a certain time? Are we getting behind the 8 ball or anything if we end up postponing it to, say, the next meeting?
Well, I would say that we have I think it's BQ, I can't remember exactly. Once a law changes, sometimes it takes us a little bit longer to get local policy developed and passed. So we have another policy that says if we have a local policy that conflicts with a change in the law, the change in the law controls. So we were bringing this now because we are implementing the changes for this current year. But again, those are operational changes, and so that would be in regulation. So the I guess long answer to your short question is not really, but I do think since it's just a restatement of the law, we can put that in there and you can move it to second reading, and then you can see it with the law stated in it, and then it can be approved in September.
So for our purposes tonight, as the maker of the motion, I'm willing to adjust my motion if my colleague who seconded is open to as well. I'm willing to amend the motion to approve 7A1, 7A2, and table 7A3 for the next meeting based on Trustee Heineman's recommendations and what she would like to see added to the policy. And I want to see if my colleague who seconded the motion is open to making that amendment as well. Who seconded? I thought it was Christine who seconded it.
Christine. Yeah, that's fine. I'm agreeable.
So President Henry, since my colleague who seconded it is open to the motion, that is my revised motion, is to approve 7A1, 7A2, table 7A3 for administration to bring that back for us at the next regular board meeting with the recommendations and requests by Trustee Heineman.
So we first have to approve the amended motion first. So all those in favor of the amended motion, please signify by raising your right hand.
Point of information.
Yes.
Procedurally, I do have one question operationally that just want to make sure that we're not impacting anything for Paula by putting this off. I don't think that we would, but from our digital devices standpoint. Okay, I didn't think we would, but I just wanted to check. Thank you, Paula.
I believe they said operational, they're continuing on with their projects, irrespective, because it's the law.
Okay, very good.
Am I correct, Marnie? Thank you.
My point of information is what reading is this considered then?
First
Chief?
reading.
So there was an opportunity to pass and then have it come back at second reading so that it would move more quickly. So I would like to entertain motion language to say that we could consider this first reading and then at second reading have the additional information.
I guess it's almost a moot point because it's already being operationalized within the district. All we're doing is codifying in the law. So
I would love to see, do we have local, do we have policy that you have written that is regulation?
We are still working on, because the 11 different standards are not just in CQC reg, they're going to be, Paul and I, we worked on that earlier in the summer, some in CQ regulation, some in CQ A and B, so it's like alphabet soup, but because it deals with different areas, so we are adding those operationally to different regulations. We can share that.
So we already passed those on first and second, so there is some coverage for families and protection already approved, so if we delay by a month, that protection is there?
Yeah, so I'm sorry, I think I may have answered a different question. So those are operational, and so yes, those are in place, Dr. Blassingame, and those, we are working on those, and Paula, her team has spent a lot of time this summer making sure that those are in place. The direct and informed consent, we have a plan in place, and that is going to go forward, because those are operational things. The policy just says, you're going to do that. You're going to do the operational requirements to implement the 11 new standards in the SCOPE Act. So you are correct. I had suggested that you can, similar to how we've done in the past, you can just pass the first reading on the policies because they don't go into effect until the second reading. Or if you prefer, which is what Mr. Ray amended his motion to be, is that you just pull it from first reading and then move on. It doesn't make a lot of difference other than it's just coming back to you. And we can even do a dual reading next month. My co-counsel here just had that, shared that.
I would feel comfortable with a dual reading next month.
Sure.
I don't want to slow the process, but I do think that's great input from Trustee Heineman.
Great suggestions. Okay.
Dual reading as long as we get everything in there we need. Yes, sir. Just make sure that's in there. All right, going back to the original vote, all those in favor of the amended resolution, all seen by raising your right hand. Looks like it's unanimous on that one. Now we have to take a vote on the final. All those in favor of the approving 7A1 and 7A2 only, removing 7A3, please signify by raising your right hand. And that is unanimous as well. 7B, the Board will consider approving on second reading additions, revisions, and deletions to district policy. 7B1, EFB Local, Instructional Resources, Library Materials, revised. 7B2, GKD, Community Relations, Non-School Use of School Facilities, revised. 7B3, FDA, Admissions, Interdistrict Transfers, revised. We do have three speakers. Our first speaker is Austin McGowan. Not here? Or are here? Are you Austin?
No, they said not here.
I'm sorry.
And so I came up.
Jill, you're next in. Go ahead, Jill. Making sure.
President Henry, trustees, Dr. Killian. I'm sorry I didn't greet you appropriately before, but I felt pressed on that time limit. Laura Bush said, "Libraries allow children to ask questions about the world and find the answers. And the wonderful thing is that once a child learns to use a library, the doors to learning are always open." I appreciate the work done by the Board of Trustees since the last reading on the policy regarding choosing library resources. It is a beginning. The adjustments show that while there are still fundamental differences between how the board has approached library policy and how many parents and community members approach library material access, there can be concessions that provide transparency and avenues to communication. I ask as a parent that the board continue in this venue of attempting to represent all of the CFISD community, and that parents continue to voice their choice by using opt-in and opt-out processes and not by decimating the library catalog. Thank you.
Thank you. Dave Mann?
Good evening, Board, Mr. President, Superintendent, and Administration. Thank you very much for allowing us all the opportunity to speak this evening. My name is Dave Mann. As you have heard me before, I'm going to spare you a lot of what I had written. 7B1 EFB Local Instructional Resources Library Materials. As I mentioned earlier, it was read aloud at the beginning of the meeting that it's not the board's job to operate the day-to-day business of the school district. There's also a long-standing tradition of deferring to experts. But despite that, the board is going to do as it wishes. So if you're going to do this, how are you going to do this? Will there be a published rubric, a checklist, or a standardized protocol? What level of subjectivity is going to be introduced into the process? Will this be published on the district website? You know, the several members of the Board of Trustees have mentioned transparency in their campaigns. Let's have it.
Thank you. At this time, may I get a motion?
I move that the board approve on second reading additions, revisions, or deletions to district policies, EFB Local, Instructional Resources, Library Materials Revised, GKD Local, Community Relations, Non-School Use of School Facilities Revised, FDA Local, Admissions, Intra-District Transfers Revised.
May I have a second?
Second.
Are there any questions at this time? Go ahead.
Thank you. I suggest that we vote on 7B1 EFB Local separately from the other two policy revisions.
I guess if you want to make a motion to change or move that separately, I'm looking to Marty, making sure.
Okay.
That is possible, I'm guessing, making sure I understand parliamentary. That's not how it's written in the,
I mean, we post for the three. Sometimes we will vote on them separately. I mean, the motion was to approve all of them. If you would like to remove one of them, unless you want to vote separate, like if you want to vote for two but not one, you can, abstain or you can not. I mean, I'm trying to figure out what effect it would have to vote on them separately.
Sure. There are three policies listed under item 7B, 7B1, 7B2, 7B3. They are three distinct policies, and I'm asking if we can vote on them individually versus as a group. They're grouped together as a group of three.
And as the board can do that. I'm just sharing, we typically post them as first readings and second readings, and we vote on them as one agenda item. But if you want to request that the board remove one, that would be at the choice of the board. I was trying to figure out if there was an effect you were trying to accomplish. I was trying to see if there was another way
The
to do
effect
it.
I'm trying to accomplish is to vote on the policies individually versus as a group.
Okay. Generally speaking, I wouldn't advise that as a going forward, just from a time manage, I mean, generally, we bring on first reading, if there's a concern with the policy, as you said, we remove it and vote on the others. If there's a unique situation, I know we have done that, where we've taken one policy. So I'm just saying, are you asking that as a rule going forward, or just this specific instance? So, because you want to vote on one separately?
Correct. I'm asking for tonight for board meeting agenda item 7B1, 7B2, 7B3 to be voted on as individual policies because they are 3 distinct policies.
And so
If
that
my
would go up to
colleague
the
makes
board.
a motion, because she would like to vote against something or for something, I would support the motion. I will second your motion if you make a motion to vote separately for these at this meeting.
And I am happy to amend my original motion.
Okay.
So, trying to think about how to do this from a parliamentary standpoint.
I would just do one at a time.
Okay.
Just.
All right, so. There's already a motion.
There's
so
already a
we've got
motion
to
and a
deal
second
with
on the
that.
floor.
But it's been withdrawn. The maker, I mean,
Okay,
you could.
all right,
You're
so
agreeing it?
then formally,
Okay.
then I agree to withdraw the motion originally. And now we're going to read them individually.
I'm okay with that.
All right, so seeing the motion, the second been withdrawn, we'll now vote on these individually. 7B1, local instructional library materials. May I get a motion, please, for 7B1 only?
President Henry, I move that the board approve on second reading additions, revisions, or deletions to district policies, EFB local instructional resources, library materials, revise.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor, signify by raising your right hand. All those against? So that's 1 against and the remaining 4. Thank you, Holly. 7B2, GKD, Community Relations, Non-School Use of School Facilities. May I get a motion?
I move that the board approve on second reading additions, revisions, or deletions to district policies, GKD local community relations, non-school use of school facilities, revise.
May I get a second?
I will second.
Any questions? Just making sure. All those in favor, signify by raising your right hand. And that is unanimous. And the last 7B3, FDA admissions interdistrict transfers. May I get a motion?
I move that the board approve on second reading additions, revisions, or deletions to district policies, FDA local admissions interdistrict transfers, revise.
And I'll second that. Any questions? If not, go to a vote. All those in favor, signify by raising your right hand. And that's unanimous. 7C, the board will consider approving the school health advisory membership for 2024-2025 school year. We have one speaker, Jennifer Jeanette.
There we go. CFISD Board of Trustees shall appoint at least 5 members to serve on the SHAC who may be selected from the following groups: teachers, administrators, district students, healthcare professionals, business community, law enforcement, senior citizens, clergy, nonprofit health organizations, and local domestic violence programs. Which category does Monica Dean fit into? I don't see categories for stealing the name of a local community group, helping to run a meeting on how to ban library books, attempting to ban library books, not believing in the value of health education, pretending to be a science textbook expert. SHAC is all about student health and learning, physical health, and mental health. A woman who wants to delete chapters out of approved science textbooks regarding vaccines, climate change, and cultural diversity should not have a seat at the table. A woman who thinks that any talk about sex education constitutes sexualizing our children should not have a seat at the table. She said that once at a board meeting. This is not the first time I have asked the district to take a look at committee members appointed by this board, and unfortunately, it probably will not be the last time.
Yeah. Okay. I want to withdraw a recommendation and actually say that we need to do a little bit more research. I am asking for the board to approve the board-appointed members and give us a little bit more time to look at our bylaws and make sure that the rest of the members that were on the list followed the process that I want to make sure. So, and that's all I'm asking. So what you have in front of you is the old list and the new list. And all I'm asking for is approval for just the ones that the board has already recommended.
Do we have a list? I didn't see a list.
It's in your packet, and it's identified. Perfect. Yeah, and it's identified in the list which ones were approved by the board, or appointed by the board, and then that gives me an opportunity to double-check all the rest of the folks that are on the deal, and I'll bring it back to you.
Just making sure, looking to my left and looking to my right, everyone clear on what we're looking at? So what I understand is we're approving the members 17 through, lines 17 through 26. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Only. And so can you make sure you make your motion accordingly?
Mr. President, I move that the board approve School Health Advisory Council membership as outlined in the proposed roster for positions 17 through 26 for the 2024-2025 school year.
May I get a second?
Second.
Any questions?
I do have a question. At the work session, one of our colleague, Ms. Heineman, you brought up a point about nepotism. I guess I've got a couple of questions. Is it one specific person that you're concerned with? Or, I mean, my wife, personally, she mentors at this school district, does a lot for this school district. In fact, she's even inquired about maybe helping out with any kids that may need a ride to school, because this is the first time that we're going to have both of our boys taken care of in that respect. So I'm just trying to understand why would there be nepotism in a volunteer position, would you have an issue with my wife serving on any type of board or on any type of committee?
So the times I've raised the question about nepotism is when board members appoint family members to district committees. Yes.
Okay, so if someone else were to, and again, I'm just giving a hypothetical. If someone else were to recommend my wife, or let's say Justin were to recommend Scott's wife, would you have an issue with that?
Yes, that would still be qualify as nepotism. Yes.
Okay, so if we're going to do nepotism on a volunteer basis, should we also basically do that from an employee basis as well? Nepotism, where we have basically people working with each other. There's actually money exchanging hands. I just wanted to kind of throw in there. I just threw a simple.
We do have that, and for board members and family members cannot work for the
Really?
school. Correct.
That's currently happening, right? Is that happening in any of our schools?
That's.
It's the question, do we have board members?
Is nepotism going on in our school district right now?
So when we use the term nepotism, sometimes it is specific under the statute, and so there are some statutorily prohibited employment practices. The Board of Trustees, and then because most hiring decisions are delegated to the superintendent in this district, it would also apply to Dr. Killian as if he were also an elected official.
Mm-hmm.
But that is correct. So they're prohibited from employees, not employees, board members, family members cannot be hired. Now, there is an exception if they were already employed before the board member was elected, but, so I'm talking post-election, and it's within 3 degrees of, I'm going to say this wrong, consanguinity, and
Consanguinity.
consanguinity. Dang. I always think it sounds like a wine, doesn't it? Like sangria, but, and then within, I believe, 2 degrees of affinity, which would mean by marriage. So the first means by blood, and the second is by marriage. So that's correct. That's already in statute.
So to be clear, if there were people in leadership and they were managing their son or daughter, would that be considered nepotism?
So no, so that nepotism applies to the elected officials.
Mm-hmm.
Just for clarification, though, nepotism doesn't apply, but only applies for employed folks. Is that correct?
Correct. I'm sorry, I was answering the question in the employment context.
But I was going
and so-
back to Ms. Heinemann's suggestion about nepotism for board members. So if you appoint someone to a committee that happens to be another board member's spouse, they're not employed.
No, they're not, and which is why when Ms. Heineman and I were talking kind of offline about suggestions and about policy language, I said if it is a broader voluntary restriction that the board wanted to put on itself, I would recommend you do that through board operating procedures as opposed to policy in one specific area. And it's like the board operating procedures, as you think about it, those are kind of operating guidelines that you've put together and that you've agreed to adhere by. You don't have to legally, but as a member of the Board of Trustees, I am agreeing to do the following. And that's all the different things in the board operating procedure. Now, there are some things in there that are required by, statute or, even by local policy, that is a voluntary decision that you've made in sitting in this role and taking on this responsibility to do. And so that's why I was suggesting, to the extent there was the idea of applying a nepotism-like voluntary constraint on the board, it would probably be best in a governing document like the operating procedures, if that makes sense. But it is not legally nepotism. I think Ms. Heineman is just using that.
It's not nepotism at all. It's not nepotism at all.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's not legally nepotism. I think she's just using that as a point of reference because generally we kind of understand that to have a certain meaning. But no, it does not meet the statutory definition. That's correct.
And Marnie, has previous board members had spouses on committees before? Ms. Heineman, have you had one?
I have not, but I do know in past boards that
Yes.
that did happen, and that was something that I was not comfortable with.
Okay.
Yes, but yes, that has happened, but not me personally. I've never appointed a family member to a district committee.
Okay.
So I have, this is an offline conversation that I think we should have, but so in the district guidelines for regulations, so we allow supervisors to supervise their own family, or just wondering?
No, so we have an employment
'Cause that goes back to
policy.
yours.
We also have a conflict of interest. So in the employment realm, that's going to be under a different policy. That's all I was saying. I was saying it doesn't fall under the B series nepotism policy. But no, we don't allow employees to directly supervise spouses. Of course, Sharita's coyly not making eye contact with me, but she will possibly correct me. I don't have it in front of me, but is it DC local that we have that provision in? But we talk about it. Now, if someone is already in a position and then they get promoted, it doesn't typically apply if they're already in a position.
Similar to how we practice with nepotism, if an employee is already in the district and a spouse
Comparable.
runs for the board, then, okay.
Yeah, it's comparable. I can pull the language up while.
No, it's okay, because I don't want to get us too far off this topic, and
I'd like to comment.
we can
I think
look
it's
at it.
DC, or is it D? And you didn't see it?
I'd like to comment, maybe because I'm the one person up here without a spouse. I don't think someone should shed their right to be an active member of this community just because they happen to be my spouse. I think that if someone has ideas and cares about the community and brings information and is willing to give their time and volunteer, it's not nepotism, so I don't think we should more strictly interpret that. I think the best man for the job, or woman.
And again, I just want to listen, if we're targeting certain individuals, I just feel like whether it be my wife, Justin's wife, Lucas's wife, Scott's wife, anybody else, I feel like this behavior is tyrannical behavior. You're trying to silence people.
It's okay. I can answer. I appreciate your opinion. Anytime I've spoken about a concern about nepotism, I've also said and conflict of interest.
Mm-hmm.
Asking that we not appoint our own family members to district committees, isn't shutting down anybody's opportunity to be an active member in the community or to volunteer. We have so many volunteer opportunities that can be done other than serving on a district committee. Plus, there are other people in our community who want to volunteer and serve, so why should a board member's family member take a spot from a community member who doesn't already have a voice on these important issues? We have a voice.
Yeah.
Our family members have voices because they talk to us at the dinner table, but not everybody has that privilege. So filling positions on district committees that could be used by parents, maybe in schools that are not represented here on a regular basis, I think is important, and that takes priority.
Yeah, I think all of our spouses, to be clear, that are on the board, they're all very well informed about the perspective of the district, and they spend a lot of time serving. Just for everybody's knowledge, for anybody that serves as a Board of Trustees member, you wake up thinking about the school district, you go to bed thinking about the school district, you think about the school district 24/7. And the commitment that any of our spouses make when we're on the Board of Trustees is severe. And when they see an opportunity to serve, they want to be helpful. So, my wife was appointed to the prior SHAC committee. She showed up for every meeting. She did all the work. You can ask Dr. Macias. She never missed one. She was informed, and she worked with people across the aisle, so to speak, on a range of topics. This simple fact that any board member spouse wants to serve and fill some of the gap that they see, they should be allowed to do so, and I would continue to support it. My wife has already fulfilled any term. She is not in this list. She's already had her opportunity on SHAC. Going forward, if there are any other spouses on the board that is informed because their spouse is a Board of Trustees member and they feel that they have the opportunity to contribute, I fully support them being able to do that in the future. That's my opinion.
Yeah, my brother-in-law fought in 2 wars as a pilot in the Air Force, so that I would have freedoms. I'm not about sitting at this dais and giving up my freedoms when it's not illegal. And second of all, if I marry someone, they don't give up their opinions and their perspectives just because I happen to have my opinions and perspectives in my leadership role. So I wouldn't support limiting freedoms and rights.
All right, let me bring this back to center now. Couple of things. One, we are only voting currently on the SHAC membership from a board perspective. The issue we're talking about is something that's brought up. I would recommend that we follow board operating procedure, which says you go to the person directly if you have an issue, which is one thing we probably should end up doing in the future. To that point, we do have a motion. We do have a second. I think we've exhausted the questions at this point. Let's take the vote. All those in favor, sing by raising your right hand. And I believe that's unanimous. 7D, the board will consider approving the sale of 40 acres of land at Jack Road and Mound Road in Dunham Point Development. This item was discussed in closed session. May I get a motion, please, for 7D? No, I said we went into executive session previously. No work session, yes.
I move that the board approve the sale of approximately 40 acres of vacant land located at Jack Road and Mound Road to Dunham Point Development and authorize the superintendent or designee to negotiate the final terms and conditions of the sale and execute all related documents.
I will second the motion.
Any questions about this? Saying none, we'll now take a vote. All those signify by raising your right hand. And that is 6. All those against? 1 against. 7E, the board will consider approving the instructional materials for State Board of Education approved literature and the Bible and Western Civilization and Bible courses for 2025-2026 school year. This item was corrected for the 2024-2025 school year to 2025-2026 school year. We do have 4 speakers. Our first speaker is Jennifer Chanette.
Making sure that's on. Electives are a good thing. The catchphrase from Thursday night was well-rounded students. When discussing religion's influence on literature and Western civilization, well-rounded would be a student learning about several different religious texts, not just one. A Bible-focused class conveys a religious message and preference which could violate the First Amendment. The fact that there are only 2 textbooks to choose from is concerning. According to NBC News, the author spent 5 years and $2 billion developing this textbook, and they appear to have a monopoly on this type of book. What is that about? This second edition came out in 2011. Is it common for textbooks to be that old? Because a lot has happened in our society in the last 13 years. Christianity has actually changed a lot in the last 13 years. Well-rounded would be allowing students to learn all the chapters in our science textbooks. Well-rounded would be allowing students to choose library books. Well-rounded would be informative health classes and sex ed and education about the danger of drugs. Do we have any extra science electives, like ones that focus on climate change and vaccines and cover the chapters recently deleted by this board? Would such an elective even be permitted? There are so many rules and about so many things, and yet very little rules when it comes to Christianity. Please do not forget about the diversity that exists in this district.
Jill Center.
Hello. I have been a public and private educator, a child and youth minister, a director of religious education, an educational advocate, and most importantly, a parent. I have no issue with the age appropriateness of the suggested course material. I have no issue with the offering of a secularly focused course that explores how religious texts influence culture and literature. After reviewing the book in person, including reading completely several sections and the course information provided from the state, I cannot object to the textbook selection with the caveat that an appropriate curriculum that includes both classic and contemporary references to biblical literature, artistic, and media influences be developed. Specifically, it would be wonderful to include books like Harry Potter, Chronicles of Narnia, Dune, Lord of the Rings, The Matrix, Star Wars, etc. And I apologize for heavy fantasy and sci-fi references. It's what I read. I also wish to state that my approval of the course material is of the textbook as a whole. I know that some have previously objected to some content that has been represented as DEI or CRT, both buzzwords that put important information about women and racial disparity at risk, but also information about interpersonal relationships being included. This textbook has pertinent areas that address the way these topics are handled in biblical text and referenced literature. I hope the entire textbook will be approved and included if the course is chosen. Thank you.
Dave Mann.
I stated Thursday at the work session that I support the general idea of the course. If you're going to read Tolkien or Lewis, or you're going to read some of the writers that influenced them, you're going to go back 200, 300, 400 years in the English canon, you've got to have familiarity with the Bible, with Greek and Roman mythology. There's a lot that goes into it that I didn't know until I got to college and got smacked in the face with my lack of understanding. So again, I support the class in theory, but I have a series of questions. One, it's kind of 2 courses, not one, right? There's a literature class and then there's a separate Western Civ class, if I'm not mistaken. So each one's going to require its own curriculum development. How do you expect to, with understaffing and overburdened curriculum teams and all that, how exactly is it going to be carried off? What will be the vetting or selection process to ensure that teachers of the courses will not veer into proselytization? How will the teachers, their leaders, their mentors, their administrators monitor compliance with protections against proselytization? Will there be random unannounced observation? Will there be a student reporting protocol whereby a student who feels that they have been proselytized to, or who feels their own religion or lack thereof has been in some way targeted, will be empowered to report their experience to a counselor or an administrator? Will the book selected, which I believe was published in 2006, which includes AP vocabulary prep, be updated to meet current AP vocabulary prep? How are we going to adapt an older book to what's happening now? So in short, what are you going to do to ensure that these courses, which I think are good, are going to be executed successfully in a manner that does not violate policy, law, or the rights of students, teachers, and staff? And again, please, the transparency you promised, answer the questions. We have a right to know. Thank you.
Thank you. Marianne Jackson.
As a retired Texas public school educator, former Cypher assistant principal and taxpayer, and a Christian, I have a strong interest in my local school district and the success of the teachers and students. On August 5th, I reviewed the textbook, The Bible and Its Influence, to gain a better understanding of what students would be learning. And here are a few pros and cons of the textbook for the two elective high school courses, Literature in the Bible and Western Civilization in the Bible. Here are the pros. It is written in an easy-to-read format and provided discussion questions for the teachers to use. Another pro is that a teen might be intrigued with this course and start studying the inerrant Word of God on his or her own. It is amazing how God can use anything, a book, a course, or a teacher, to open one's eyes. The cons of the book, the textbook that I reviewed was a 2017 edition, so in 2025 it will be 8 years old. The book was only available in English, and I noticed a monolingual Spanish-speaking mother stayed for almost 2 hours when we reviewed the books. The textbook reviewers and consultants are from progressive institutions, so I have a little confidence in this religious content of the book as a conservative Protestant. As a Bible-believing Christian, I would not want my child to take the course or use the textbook, but I would want our child to get it from our church or family. However, I do believe families should have various educational opportunities, and another family might benefit from this elective course. And here are my recommendations. I would find other instructional resources or textbooks for the course. The book needs to be written in English and Spanish so the parents can see what's being taught. I would have Cypher teachers develop their own curriculum guides for these courses, have a team work on that. And I also would consult with local Bible experts and pastors in our community to review the instructional materials. And I typed up a couple things I'll pass out to y'all. Thank you.
So in 7E, may I get a motion, please?
Just as a point of information, the recommended motion calls for the 2024-2025 year. However, the subject and the agenda items, the 2025-2026 school year. Can we get clarification? We're talking 25-26.
It is.
Okay.
It's in the amendment.
Just making sure, yeah, I mean, that would be pretty quick. So I just want to make it, I'll go ahead and make the motion then, and that I move the board approve the instructional materials for the State Board of Education approved literature and the Bible and Western Civilization, the Bible courses for the 2025-2026 school year.
May I get a second?
Second.
Questions? Seeing no questions, we'll now move for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. I believe that is unanimous. If you can see all the way down there. 7F, the board will consider approving a memorandum of understanding with Region 4 Education Service Center regarding the police patrol services. May I please get a motion for 7F?
I move that the board authorize the superintendent to execute a memorandum of understanding with the Region 4 Education Service Center for the provision of police patrol services.
Second.
Any questions? I believe we discussed this in closed session. At this time, we'll now take a vote. All signify by raising your right hand. I believe that is unanimous. 7G, the board consider approving the superintendent's recommendation for said notice for the individual listed here for proposed termination of her contract to the district. Can I get a motion, please?
I move that the Board of Trustees rescind its notice of proposed termination of her term contract to the person listed here.
A second.
Any questions? Seeing none, we'll now take a vote. All those signify by raising your right hand. And it is unanimous. The following addendum was posted to the August meeting on Wednesday, August 7, 2024. The board will consider approving the renewal agreement with Lone Star College to facilitate training for certified nursing assistants, certification for practicum in health science students. May I please get a motion for 1A, which is now 1A.
Can I borrow your binder? Meetings.
I'll do the motion.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion that the board consider approving the renewal agreement with Lone Star College to facilitate the training of certified nursing assistant certification for practicum in health science students. May I get a second?
Second.
Any questions? Seeing none, we'll now take a vote. All those signify by raising your right hand. That is unanimous. As previously reviewed, 7E was corrected to the 25-26 school year. Justin already did that. I'd like to thank everyone for being here tonight. Also like to thank those who are watching from home. May I please get a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn.
In a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Unanimous. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.